We're on record.
Okay. Minor Site Plan and Subdivision Committee of Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, Monday, June 15th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at SEC of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Didich.
Here.
Mr. Dinsmore.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
We have our board planner, Mr. Wrightson, our board engineer, Ms. Knutt, and our board attorney, Mr. Wenzel.
All right, if we'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This meeting is open to the general public. If there's anybody here who wants to speak to the Minor Site Plan Subcommittee and something that's not on our agenda, please step forward. I would be surprised if anybody would ever do that. So let's move along. We've got application number 25:513, Richard Call, 155 Everett Road, Block 238, Lot 3, minor subdivision.
All right, why don't we get on the record?
Absolutely.
Good evening, Paul Anderson, for the applicant, licensed engineer, licensed planner, state of New Jersey.
All right, Mr. Anderson, can you please state and can you please spell your name?
Paul Anderson, Anderson.
Okay. And Mr. Anderson, why don't we get you sworn in? Do you swear for and tell the truth for this subcommittee tonight?
I do.
Okay. You are a licensed engineer?
Licensed engineer, licensed planner.
Okay.
License are current, good standing.
Okay, and education?
Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Clarkson University, 1983. Licensed New York and New Jersey in 1988. And licensed as a planner by examination about 15 years ago.
Okay, and all those licenses are up to date?
They are.
Chair, I would submit to have Mr. Anderson qualified in the field of engineering as an expert.
Anybody have any questions on his qualifications? Oh, hearing and seeing none. Feel free, move forward.
Good, Mr.
Thank you.
Anderson.
We're here for an application of 155 Everett Road. Tonight's an R4 zone, totally conforming minor subdivision. We have shown on the plans homes that fit that meet the minimum floor area requirement. We're not committed to those homes. There's no variances associated with either the subdivision or any house that we propose to put on the lot. There's no other impediments in terms of wetlands, floodplain, or highlands restriction associated with this application. So we would be looking for approval of the minor subdivision and acceptance of the building envelope and homes that we show, subject to the town's engineer's review of plans before construction of the home, so they can approve stormwater and other things that are associated with construction permits.
Okay, and you've received the report from the board professionals.
I have.
Okay, and is there anything in that report that you will not be able to comply with?
So the one thing that we would just like to point out is that we would be filing this minor subdivision with deeds, with a deed. And so we would not be preparing a plan, final survey or subdivision plan with a licensed land surveyor. The licensed land surveyor would provide the descriptions, and an attorney would prepare the deeds, and they'd be filed by deed, which is permitted with a minor subdivision.
And would you agree as a condition of approval to have that deed submitted to my office as the board attorney for review before recording?
Of course. Of course.
I don't mean to interrupt, but our departments prefer to have, besides deeds, the subdivision map of each property.
Well, yes, that's fine. We can have the plan that I prepared for the subdivision It shows where the lines are and all the dimensions, but it cannot be filed as a filed map. That requires a licensed land surveyor to prepare an entirely different map, probably taking everything I have here and putting it under his name. And that's all I'm trying to avoid. This map here can be kept as part of the record of the minor subdivision with a description that goes along with it.
The zoning department and the construction department and the engineering department use that plan to issue all their permits. It becomes the record and for the future to make sure that the setbacks are noted. I noticed that Dan Cassis assigned different block and lots than show on your plan. So all the record, the resolution, and that should all be corrected to show the correct block and lots.
Correct.
The 3.0 and 3.2. So you're going to revise the plan and submit that to Nora to be signed so that all the departments have it. You're just not providing it to the county?
That's correct.
Okay, but you are providing it to Nora, the revised plan?
Yes, it'll be
Okay.
updated in accordance with the one exception, it's not by licensed land surveyor to the county.
But to the department, to
Yes.
Nora?
Right.
Nora will
whatever
get the
copies.
updated plan.
Yeah,
Correct.
because without the block and lots corrected, you'll
They-
have
yes.
difficulty submitting to my three
Assessor has to
departments.
assign the correct ones.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with that, Jen, understanding that they're not going to, excuse me, Ms. Smith, they're not going to file the subdivision by plat or map, they're going to file it by deed for county recording purposes, but there will be an official subdivision map which will be part of the Parsippany record?
As long as Nora receives a copy that she can stamp and approve that the departments then see to be able to issue the permits with the
Okay.
correct block and lots.
That's what we're doing.
All right,
Okay.
and you have no problem with that being a condition
No.
of approval?
Not all, that's our intention.
I didn't think you would.
No.
Okay. All right.
Just want to get a few things on the record.
Yes.
I'm assuming that once the lots are subdivided and you start construction, that there'll be no violations of any of the setbacks, any of the bulk requirements, that you will fit within the building envelope of the brand-new subdivided piece of land, so that there will be no encroachment, as it were, on our overall zoning requirements.
That is the intention, that we have a conforming house. I think the homes fit fairly easily on this within the setbacks and meet all the zone requirements
Well, that's
fairly easily.
because you're not giving us a picture of exactly what you're going to build.
Right.
But he will to zoning. So I won't issue, I'm also the zoning officer
Mhm.
and the director. I won't issue your zoning permit for the two lots unless you come in with plot plans that depict the house, the driveway, the deck, the pool, the shed,
Storm
whatever you're
drainage, yes,
doing.
everything we're
And
gonna
then
do.
my zoning permit will be issued and that'll be what goes on to construction. So he won't be able to not meet the requirements because he wouldn't be able to build without it.
right,
So yeah,
right.
we'll make sure.
Right, so I'm just sort of letting you know up front, and Jen is doing a better job of saying, if you come in and say, hey, I'd like to make it a little closer to the neighbor, you can't,
Right.
you
I
know,
understand that.
or I want to make it further back or closer to the street, you can't. You gotta fit within all of the zoning requirements, the coverage requirements, the setback requirements, everything has to be per the standards that the zone sets.
We understand and accept that.
Okay. Mr. Didich, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Just a couple questions. Apologize, I lost my voice over the weekend. Just confirming that there's no existing easements or any deed restrictions on the property as it stands?
The survey did not reveal any deed restrictions or easements on the properties.
Okay. Have you had any applications, letters of no interest, or approvals by any other jurisdictions, the county planning board?
We have not made the application to any of the other agencies. We would have to obviously submit the subdivision plan or subdivision deeds to the county. We'll need, when it goes to construction, setting control approval. That would probably be for both lots. And, yeah, so, but we have not processed those as of yet.
Thank you.
Mr. Reinerston, do you have?
No, just a couple comments, because this makes my letter quite easy. As we indicated, this is on page 6. He requested some site plan waiver checklist items. We had no objection. If the board has no objection to granting these, for instance, I'll just give, they asked for a Highlands exemption determination application. And normally I do the Highlands exemption, but since single-family homes, there's been a change that exemptions 1, 3, and 5 are no longer applicable, because that they are, Highlands has amended theirs to say single-family homes don't need to file for Highlands. And Mr. Anderson, you're contemplating conforming single-family homes eventually, yes. So, and the rest of them, we didn't, I don't think Lyra had any objection to these minor waivers. And just on the comments and recommendations, there, I have my boilerplate, talks about positive and negative criteria. We've heard testimony already, they're gonna conform. So that's been handled during testimony. He's already indicated that he could do these minor changes that were number 2 and 3, which I was just recommending that the existing conditions, they don't exist anymore because they've knocked the home down. So I would just say, I know originally when you filed the application, the home was still there.
Correct.
So just, you've already indicated you'll make those minor changes. And then, you know, just when we write not applicable for the minimum floor area, I say it's a discrepancy, but you've already put on the testimony that you're going to conform to all the items. So I'm fine with them saying we'll comply, because they will have to go to the zoning officer at the time of filing, and then she'll be able to, you know, she'll issue the zoning permit to make sure that they comply with all underlying zoning. And then number 5 is not applicable, because really there are no variances, so they, you know, it would be a condition of approval, but since there are none, it's satisfied during testimony. So thank you.
Thank you.
Works for me. Any other questions or comments from the board or from the professionals? Any members of the public have any questions on this application at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Do you have anything further to add?
That's our application. So, we, you know, if we would respectfully request approval of the minor subdivision and at this point.
Any members of the public wish to object to this application at this time? In support of this application, hearing and seeing none, this closes the evidentiary portion of tonight's hearing. Do I have a motion on this application?
Mr. Chairman, a motion to approve application number 25:513, Richard Cole 155, Everett Road, Block 238, Lot 3, minor subdivision.
Second, Smith.
Do I have the list of conditions that,
With the condition that there will be adherence to the, what's it now,
Artheon.
Artheon. It was easier when CME. With the report, with the understanding that the subdivision is going to be filed with the county by deed, but a subdivision map will be provided to the township, and that subdivision map will be updated and revised accordingly to have the corrected information. Both those will be conditions of approval.
I'm assuming...
And that there will be strict adherence to the map as provided without variance conditions on the ultimate homes.
I'm assuming, Mr. Dedich and Ms. Smith, that that is what you moved.
Agreed,
Yes.
yep. Mhm.
Of course.
Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Dedich?
Yes.
Dinsmore?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
And the result is the passing
Thank you very much.
your application.
Good luck.
Good luck. Is there anything else that needs to come before the minor site plan subcommittee?
No.
You're giving me another chance, a few moments of glory as a chair. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. The minor site plan is adjourned, and
We're on record.
All right, thank you, Nora. Today is June 15th. This is the meeting for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Planning Board. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting is being given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Didich.
Here.
Mr. Dinsmore.
Here.
Mr. DePiero.
Here.
Mr. Patel.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
Chairman Von Aiken.
Here.
We have our board planner, Mr. Ryerson, our board engineer, Ms. Kenneth, and our board attorney, Mr. Wenzel.
All right, thank you. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this meeting is open to the general public. However, just as a word of notation, the public portion is now being opened up for anything that's not on our formal agenda. So if there's anything on the agenda you'd like to discuss later, please hold your comments until that point. With that said, if there's anybody who would like to speak on a member or of an item not on the agenda, please come forward. All right, seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public portion. We have a few pieces of housekeeping. For starters, one of our members, Mr. Dominic Mealy, had to provide his resignation. Mr. Mealy provided service to the board for, I want to say, about 10 years or potentially even longer. And I'd like to ask for a resolution as to providing a proclamation for Mr. Mealy for appreciation to his service on the board. Would anybody like to second that?
I would absolutely love to second that. I served with him that entire time that he was on the board, and he was always involved with every case, always asked good questions, was a great service to the community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dinsmore. So we have a second. Nora, could we please take a vote on this?
All in favor?
Oh, that works for me. All in favor? Aye. All right. Any opposed? No. Okay. Thank you very much for that. We now have two resolutions on the agenda. The first one is application 26:503 Rutgers Building. This is a soil moving permit. Would anybody like to make a motion on this resolution?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
motion to approve resolution for application number 26:503 Rutgers Builders LLC, Rutgers Lane, Block 767, Lot 7.3, major soil moving permit.
Do we have a second?
Second, Dinsmore.
All right. Is there any deliberation, any questions or comments? Seeing none, I will open it up for the vote. Nora?
Didich.
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Next resolution is for application 25:521 Brixmore. Do we have a motion?
Can we hold off
Oh.
on that? Because I think the mayor would like to say something about that application, Mayor, before we call for a vote.
Very good. Joining us is our mayor. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Sure.
All right. We were just discussing application 25:521, the Brixmore, asking for a resolution or approval.
Memorialization of the resolution.
Yeah. All right.
I think what Ms. Smith was advising before, Chairman, is that the mayor had you were going to open up for comments by board members, and obviously the mayor had a comment.
One of my question was, who's here from Brixmor? Just so I can, oh, hello, sir, how are you? You had mentioned that you would be submitting a plan, the driving plan for the trucks, which would be contingent on the approval. I see that it is included in your application. Is that true?
Well, we submitted, Peter Wolfson of Dave Pitney here on behalf of Brixmor.
Yes.
Excuse my casual attire, I was not expecting to appear tonight, but
It's okay.
thank you for the time. We submitted turning templates that were reviewed by your engineer that showed that all the truck movements in and out of the site and within the site work. We did agree as a condition that we would be providing additional size vehicles, and that we would work with your professionals on that. So yes, we will be doing additional work on.
Okay. On that, please keep in mind that my observation for the site was
There are a couple of roads that you cannot make a left turn where it actually shows that you would be making a left turn. So those are the things that they would be accommodated for. And some of the intake into the complex and outtake is designed where you would have to flare up the actual road. So hopefully those should be part of the newly adjusted plans you would submit.
We will do additional studies on that and work with your professionals.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
right.
Can I ask a question? So if during that review, my question is for us as the board, if we vote the resolution tonight, and then we go to look at that review and we determine that the drive entrances and exits that we've reviewed need to be wider, do we have any way to do that once we've already voted for it?
Well, those items, unless they're of significant change, they would be things that would be dealt with in resolution compliance with your, with the town planner, the board planner, board engineer, township engineer. And if there was a significant change, then the applicant may have to come back on an amended site plan. But if assuming it's something that's of not major consequence, where there may be some movement of a drive aisle, a foot, or widening a curb cut or something like that, those are things that are normally handled in field changes and resolution compliance. But obviously the applicant has received the commentary by the mayor tonight, the concern by the township, and I would just ask Mr. Wolfson, on behalf of his client, to convey that to his client about the concerns that the mayor has, as well as the township.
Absolutely, yeah. The shopping center has operated successfully, as you all know, for many, many years. Nothing about what we're proposing now, as the testimony showed, will change the configuration or the circulation in and out and within the site. That said, we're going to do exactly what you've asked, and we're going to do further studies and work with your professionals.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments at this time? All right, with that, we'll open it up to an approval of this resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Dedich.
a resolution for approval of application number 25:521, Brixmore 3081, Route 46, Block 411, Lot 31.1, Zone B-1, preliminary and final major site plan for parking improvements, landscaped islands, and interior changes.
Do we have a second?
Second, Dennis Moore.
All right. Nora, please call the roll.
Yes.
Desai,
Yes.
Dinsmore,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, our next item on the agenda is application 24:525, NB Home Improvements. Is the applicant here? Please introduce yourself to the board.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Stephen Hale, representing the applicant MB Homes.
All right, very good. Do we have a complete application?
We do have a complete application. It's noted in our, Ron Reinertsen for the record. We note that the application was deemed complete on April 22nd, 2026. That is on page 1 of our review letter.
All right. And what waivers have been requested?
Okay, well, that would be, they have requested waivers starting on page 12. There were several of them, but I'm just going to say here that our recommendation is, should this application be approved, we recommend that the items noted in the waiver request be provided as conditions of approval. Without
No
going
problem.
into all of these things, does Mr. Hale object to that?
No problem.
Okay. All right, then, can I have a motion from the board for approval of the waivers?
So moved.
All right,
Second, Dennis Moore.
very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. All right, continuing on. Sir, why don't you,
Yeah,
open up?
just a little bit, by way of background, first I'd like to thank your board professionals and Nora for getting us the reports well in advance of the hearing, gives us an adequate opportunity to prepare. So I'd like to thank you for that. That doesn't happen all the time.
No, I
Yeah.
surely appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
And, yeah, this is an application for preliminary and final subdivision approval. It is a conforming zone, and also, we're not going to be seeking any variances in connection with the application. It is looking to property 101 Intervale Road and also 97 Intervale Road, and looking to subdivide the existing lot 45 into 6 conforming lots with new homes being built on a number of those lots. There's going to be an existing home that will remain. But that's an overview of the application, and we can have our engineer take us through the the subdivision plan and touch on all of the items that are in Ron and Lyra's review letter.
Okay,
And we
so
did
you'll be
receive the other
having-
reports.
So you'll be having an engineering witness, any other witnesses?
Yeah, we also have our traffic engineer and planner, Jeff is here, Jeff Jaron's here, who is our engineer, and then Joe Steiger will be wearing his traffic hat. We did submit a traffic impact statement. He's also a professional planner, as I indicated, that we're not seeking variance relief.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right, why don't we get started then?
So I'd like to call upon Jeff Jaron.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, can you do us the favor of sitting, and then, because you're very tall, and just be near the mic, and just stating and spelling your name for the record.
Sure. Jeff Egarian, Egarian. My business address is 271 Route 46 in Fairfield, New Jersey. I am a licensed professional engineer. My license is in good standing, and I have testified, not before the planning board, but before the zoning board in this town before. And I'm also a longtime resident of this town.
Okay, and Jeff, your schooling, just briefly?
NGIT, class of 2006, licensed in 2012.
Okay, and your license to practice engineering the field, in the field of engineering in state of New Jersey is current up to date, correct?
It is.
Okay, Chairman?
Any members with questions about the qualifications? Okay, seeing none?
I'm sorry, a little closer. If you start playing with the things, you're gonna shut it off.
All right, seeing no questions, witness is acceptable.
Okay,
Please
great.
continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, Mr. Jaron, obviously you've worked on this application for quite some time in this project. If you could take the board, the public, and board professionals through existing conditions and then what's proposed by way of the subdivision.
Okay, sure. Maybe I'll just take this and stand up and, best place to put this? Can everybody see if I put the board here?
Well, why don't we do this, since there appears to be people here who are interested in the application, how should we have that board placed so that the people can see it as well?
I'm thinking over there, however, I did bring a few extra sets of the plans that we could also hand out if we had to.
Okay.
How about just past the podium? We can stand back there. I guess you'll have to move.
I'll be right.
She can see around the corner.
Thanks. I got a big set.
I can go over by the doorway.
Do you want to?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to do, is that going to be picked up by the camera is my question?
Yeah, as long as it's not too far.
Because I also don't want to lose the camera.
I think we got it.
Camera's not gonna pick it up,
This
but
is-
yes,
this-
I can see it.
Everybody can see that clearly?
Okay, is that, Nora, do you have that on the camera?
So, mhm.
Okay. All right, this is why I didn't work at ABC. Okay. All right, so over to you, Mr. Held.
Okay. And when you're referring to an exhibit, do you want it marked anyway, or?
If
it's merely a mounted
it's been
version.
submitted, we're not going to mark it as an
Okay.
exhibit. If you have something new, Mr. Held, then we'll mark
Then we
it.
would mark that. Just when you testify as to plans that's been submitted as noted, we're going to just reference it, but make sure you refer to the date and the page of the plan.
Okay, absolutely. Let's just get into it?
Sure.
All right, great. Okay, so what we're proposing to do here, we have a project. The address is 101 Intervale Road, Block 429, Lot 45 and Lot 46. What we're looking to do is have a preliminary major subdivision to facilitate the creation of 7 new lots and box approval envelopes, driveways, walkways for lots 45 and 46. I'll flip to sheet 3, which should be our existing conditions plan. So lot 45 is this larger tract right here, 3.182 acres, 138,000 square feet and change. It consists of a single-family dwelling, a large driveway, some sheds, and some other out structures. And the other lot involved in this application is lot 46. This single-family dwelling here, again, large driveway, detached garage, some outbound sheds, and walkways and patios. What we're looking to do here is, moving on. Talking about the frontage of these properties. So the property has a frontage on, this subdivision has a frontage on Intervale Road and Drexel Court, which is the cul-de-sac behind us. Topography of the land, it slopes away from Intervale Road, from north to south, or east to west, essentially towards Drexel Court, with a change of elevation of approximately 20 feet from the Intervale Road right away. The lot contains several mature trees and other various vegetation throughout the lot. And what we're going to be doing on this property here is the home on lot 45 will remain. The outbound structures and driveway will be removed. The structure on lot 46 is being altered in its current condition. That is part of a separate building permit application, and that project is already underway. But as part of the project, certain features of the site will be removed, especially a lot of impervious area, which is delineated by the hatching in the back. Some sheds and additional asphalt and gravel areas are going to be removed. And these X's throughout the property delineate the trees that are going to be removed as part of the project. Any questions on the existing conditions?
Does any of this fall within steep slopes, or is it?
Yes,
Okay.
there is a very, since we talked about it, let's just get right into that too.
The chairman read my mind.
Yep.
So if we go to the steep slopes, because this is kind of important for
Yeah,
the one potential variance.
Correct. Okay, so let me just get to that sheet, this slope map. Given the size of the property and the steep slopes, it is a very, very small area. Let's see what sheet we are. Quite a bit of sheets on this.
Sheet 13.
Thank you. Okay, steep slope map. So, out of this entire tract of land, almost 4 acres, we are disturbing less than 1,000 square feet of steep slopes. On our proposed lot 45.6, there are some steep slopes adjacent to this waterway, which is essentially the top of the bank. Those areas are located within the riparian buffer, so those are not being disturbed. So the only steep slopes that we're disturbing are currently on our existing lot 45, which is adjacent to the existing dwelling, where we are removing the large driveway. So these slopes have already been disturbed, and they were disturbed to create the lot to build the driveway. And now that we're modifying this lot and removing the driveway, those steep slopes are going to be disturbed. On my table here, you'll notice I do have the areas delineated of the steep slopes and the amount of steep slopes that we're disturbing. So the category in question is the category 15 to 19.9%. There's 1,188 square feet of steep slopes on the entire 3.1 acres, and we're disturbing 540 square feet of them. And then the other areas of the steep slopes combined, and the other two categories are 20 square feet and 55 square feet, below 1,000 square feet.
Okay, and just to clarify, this going to our page 14 of our review letter, it was comment number 2 where we talked about this. The way the ordinance is written, I mean, you calculated it cumulatively. So
Correct.
we could not tell, and I said, let's resolve a discrepancy, because the way the ordinance is written, it's basically intended to be by lot. So it sounds like you're presenting that both of these areas are going to be less than 1,000 square feet of slope area. And by looking at your exhibit, these are clearly separated from each other. They're not contiguous.
Correct. Yeah.
So if the board sees on this footnote number 7 on the bottom of page 14, reads how the whole ordinance is, because the board has a discretion, and that's why we call this a potential variance. The board has a discretion that if they determine that it's not contiguous and it's isolated, that relief would not be required. So, I'll defer to the board on that, but I mean, to me, looking at it, clearly they are separate. And I think the intent of the ordinance was contiguous slopes, over 1,000 square feet.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I just want to go on the record with that, and I'll defer to you, Chair.
Okay, I guess that's something we should address at the moment. Mr. Wenzel, is there anything legally that we have to be aware of here?
No, I think the board planner's comment is accurate. When you face these steep slope issues, I think you had them at a prior application, where there's already been prior disturbance. The point of any steep slope ordinance is to try to preserve what has not been disturbed, a natural area. So first of all, you have an area which has been already touched and disturbed previously for the current residents on the site, and you have the board planner's comment that this is the areas that are being disturbed are not contiguous and are not relying upon each other. So I don't see that this, if the board planner doesn't see that this is a variance, I agree with the board planner, this is not a variance condition.
No, I certainly see, yeah, we have 2 non-continuous sections, one of those sections was created effectively by the previous property owner, and so we'd be adjusting a previously disturbed section, and then the other section is the one around the drain pipe, which I guess is not, it's part of your water return section. I'm sorry, the words are
No,
skipping.
it's of no value to the project at all. It just exists. That's
Okay.
it. This area is within a riparian buffer.
That's
We
what
can't
I meant to
disturb
say,
it.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No,
And,
that's okay.
Yep.
And so you're not making any modifications to that steep slope in any way?
That's correct, yes. This
Okay.
whole area is not being touched.
All right. I'll open it up to the board really quickly then. Does anybody have any comments? Which I guess I'm leaning towards this not requiring any kind of a variance. Does anybody else have a comment to share on this?
Go with our planner's comments, makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I'd say just the engineer erring on the side of caution cited this as a variance. And I said, this is why we needed to talk this out here and understand the nuance between the two. So I don't have any other comment on that. So,
Okay.
I just wanted to put on the record, they did
Thank you.
indicate that they did need the variance.
All right. Is there anything else required, Mr. Wenzel?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I believe we've concluded that no variance will be required for this. You can
All
continue.
right, excellent.
Great, thank you very much, appreciate that.
My apologies.
You want to move on
Yep.
to
Please, thank you.
97?
Yep.
Discuss 97? Okay, so what we'll discuss quickly next is just quickly touch back to the existing conditions plan. As part of this application also, we have lot 46, which is this single-family home here, which again, I mentioned was part of a separate building permit. And I did bring that site plan. Just so you get, just so the board can understand the changes that are going to be occurring on that lot. Again, fully conforming, no variances requested. There is a building permit for this project already, but we'll just go through it so the board is aware. Again, this is the existing conditions and removal plan for 97 Intervale. Again, what we're doing here is removing portions of the existing property, some impervious areas, some gravel areas, portions of the existing patio, portions of the existing driveway, and there will be a building addition, alteration to the existing building, and modifications to the driveway, and a small rear yard patio. The zoning table itself is a little difficult to read, but as a result of this project, there will be a net decrease in impervious coverage.
What page is that?
This is not part of the plan set. This is a separate building application, which has already been permitted for lot number 97. I just brought it because it was brought up in the letter.
Mr. Held, okay, so let me, Mr. Held, should we mark this Exhibit A1, since this was not part of the packet? So why don't we mark this as Exhibit A1, give it today's date, and Jeff, why don't you just state briefly on the record what the title of that page is?
This is a new residence grading plan for 97 Intervale Road, dated October 9th, 2025, last revised April 1st of 2026.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And today's 15th, right?
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, fully conforming application, just really what it comes down to is just a building addition and removal of a lot of impervious coverage. Again, a net decrease in impervious coverage as a result of the project at 97. Any questions on 97?
Yes, I'm trying to remember the permit because I know I saw it. Were there any variances that were left once the removal? Was the driveway in the setback
Yeah, there was a comment that there was this portion of the driveway here, it did extend beyond the property line, and as a result of that, we do have it modified in the proposed condition, shows it to be conforming, the 11-foot wide driveway at the mouth, and it is 5 feet from the property line, which is the requirement.
And then there were no variances for
Correct.
that lot once we issued the permit? I thought so. Okay, thank you.
Would there be any variances required after you make the subdivision and move the lot line?
No.
On lot 46?
No, so essentially, we can get right into that too. The lot width, just getting right back into the subdivision plan. That's what happens when you have 17 sheets of paper. So just touching real quick on what we're doing with lot 97. So the frontage along Intervale Road for lot 45 is 199 feet and 199.11 feet. The zone requires 200-foot frontage. We have approximately 102.9 feet frontage for lot 46. So all we're doing with lot 46 is doing a very small lot line adjustment to take enough room out of here to get two conforming lots for lot 45. So no variance is needed.
So what would the side yard setback be from the new lot line to the new addition, which isn't shown on the site plans?
For lot 46?
Correct.
38.1 feet.
That's to the new addition that's on the building plans that you
Oh,
showed
no, I'm
previously?
sorry. Yeah, we do not have that. We do not have that on this set of plans. That is something that we can provide.
That's the variance that I'm asking about, if there
Sure.
is one or isn't one there.
Well, it would be,
Well, I think for clarification, right now, I don't think that this is for the 97 Intervale with the semi-demolished home. I think maybe to go on the record, my understanding is that there was some demolition done that was stopped. Is there an interpretation that they would have, if to rebuild that home, they have to come back in and, conform? If they would consider it a new home? How does that work?
If what's existing right now on that lot, is it 2 walls? Do you know what's existing? What'd you say?
I was just there today. It's,
So was I.
yeah, I guess we can call that 2 walls.
I don't recall, only because I issue so many permits. Did you get a zoning permit for a new single-family dwelling on that lot?
Yes.
Or did you get a permit for an addition?
It's a permit for a new dwelling.
We called it a new
Yeah.
single-family dwelling.
Correct.
So if I issued a permit, that would have been made, it would have been a new single-family dwelling, and I would have made sure that it met all the requirements. But that's prior to me knowing that the lot line was going to change. So with the lot line now changing, it's still conforming?
Correct, yeah, 'cause we're taking less than a foot.
Oh,
Right.
oh, less than a foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think now we're on record that since there's no variances for that property, that if anything is now in need of a variance, you'll have to come back for that.
Yes, of course, right, but again, we're taking less than a foot of,
Yep. No, it sounds like it'll be okay. Just want to make it clear for
Understood.
everyone.
Okay, so, moving on, so this is, on sheet 4, this is the proposed subdivision plan. So again, old lot 45 is now be turned into two new lots, conforming lots of 15,000 square feet or more with the required frontage. And then the new lot, 46.0, before it was 102.91, now the lot frontage is 102.06. That's all we needed to take to have the conforming lot, 45.1. And then we have the 4 additional lots for the subdivision in the rear with access from Drexel Court. And then the large lot of 45.6, which is essentially going to be our stormwater management system. And then these dark hatching indicates our proposed easements for the project. Any questions on the subdivision?
Maybe you'll get to this later.
Yep.
What are the easements for?
This is just utility easement for water and utilities. These along the property line here is for stormwater.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll touch on that on the utility plan.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so,
Before you go on, I'm just going to make one note. So I'm looking at our letter, and we can go over, I think you'll agree to all the conditions. I mean, but the planning comments on page 14, I note 1 on comment 6, we talk about RSIS. I just want to go on the record. It's also addressed on comment 13, on comment 3 on page 19 in the traffic comments. I don't like overlap, so I'm going to defer to the engineer on that because RSIS is addressed by Mr. Chen's comments, so we can incorporate that. So there's no overlap at that point. I'm just going to just refer to that, and if they gets approved for resolution compliance, see that particular comment. So I have nothing else to say on that. Thank you.
okay, great. So I'll move on to sheet 5, which is our proposed subdivision plot plan. So what we have here depicted are the proposed lots, the topography of the property, and our box houses that we've developed to show the board what the subdivision and new homes would look like. Again, lot 40, old lot 45, which is now 45.2. The existing home is to remain. The entire driveway was removed. We have a singular driveway accessing the property. The front walkways are to remain. All the outbound buildings that were there previously are removed. Lot 45.1, again, a conforming lot with frontages and a conforming structure. This is what a new home would look like fronting on Intervale. And lot 97, the existing home which is to remain, and those modifications we just went through with that site plan. 3 additional homes via access from Drexel Court, lot 45.5, 45.4, and 45.3. Again, all depicted to be conforming. And lastly, lot 45.6, a large lot. This hashed area just represents our complex stormwater management system that we designed. Again, there's street trees proposed all around the cul-de-sac, concrete sidewalk, lighting, and we have 2 light poles located here and here. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. And yeah, for overall plot plan and picture, there we have it. And we have a 20-foot easement between lot 45.1 and lot 46. Again, that's developed to bring the utilities from Intervale Road down to the Drexel Road cul-de-sac extension. And then these dark boxes inside of the easement here represent catch basins to route the stormwater from our property, our project, and from the adjacent properties. There is some overland flow that does enter our property from the adjacent lots. And again, with the grading plan, these catch basins are designed to capture their water as well, and it will be routed into our stormwater management system.
So just for clarification on that, adding impervious space would obviously create some additional water runoff to the surrounding properties, and what you're doing is creating a system which would capture that additional runoff so that it doesn't create any additional runoff to surrounding properties.
That's correct, as well as accounting for off-site flow coming onto our property as well.
Okay.
From those.
All right, so not impacting neighbors' properties is what I'm hearing here.
That's correct, yes. And even the existing homes on 97 and 101, those roof leaders, those driveways, we're proposing trench drains, and all the roof leaders themselves will be tied in to that system as well, where today they're not.
All right. The next question is usually, how's the maintenance on that system maintained?
There will be a maintenance manual, and obviously there will be somebody responsible, an agent responsible for maintaining the system.
All right. So that wouldn't be the responsibility of the property owner, or would?
Well, I think that's a little bit above.
Oh, okay. All right.
But we will record the stormwater maintenance.
Right, so normally when you have a development where there is going to be, I'm assuming, Mr. Held, this is one lot that's being held aside for this stormwater management, that stormwater management would be done by way of a mutual agreement among the homeowners that they're responsible for it. And in other places, normally what we have is an approval of that agreement by my office and an understanding that this is not to be maintained by the township. Township is not taking this responsibility on, but should the township have to take it on, that there would be an acknowledgement in that agreement that the township will be reimbursable for those expenses, because obviously the township is responsible to health, safety, welfare of the community, and I'm sure you've seen these many times before, Mr. Held.
Yes.
Not casting any aspersions, but you know.
He's picking on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So again, that's the proposed subdivision plot plan. We'll move on to the utility plan. So you can see on the plan here, we depict the sanitary sewer line on Drexel. We also show the existing storm catch basins on Drexel and the electric. Water extension will be run down through Drexel into the new Drexel cul-de-sac extension. Water, sewer, and gas. We will be bringing water from Intervale through the easement here into the street as well. Again, water, sewer, gas, everything operates perfectly as far as slopes and size and getting utilities to these new homes. The stormwater management system, we can quickly touch on that since it is like a big ticket item. So like I said, the plan does get a little bit busy, but we are proposing a trench drain along these driveways because all the water, like I mentioned before, the topography slopes away from Intervale towards the back. So these driveways do come down from the road. We are proposing trench drains and catch basins here. These will all be connected to our system. The roof leaders are also depicted to be connected to these catch basins. So the strategy is the water is going to flow into these catch basins all the way around, be routed all the way across our new street into our detention system. And in here we have a 4-bay, and this 4-bay, again, will capture the water. It'll route it into a small-scale bioretention system, sized for a specific year storm. And then when the heavier rains come, it'll overflow this box into a weir, and then that'll end up in our large-scale bioretention system here. Water will sit there, and then it'll be routed through a series of orifices and weirs, through manhole back into the street, and then discharged back into the city sewer at a rate significantly less than what it saw previously. And that's all outlined in our stormwater management report with the calculations and hydraulics to support that. Any questions on utilities?
Sorry, I was just going to check on what our sewer department said about that, and so that's all I'm looking at right now. If you want to cut me off, because you already know what's on there, that's okay too.
Yeah, we did not receive any comments or anything that was alarming.
Okay.
That was not something that we could
All
do
right.
there.
Mostly, I'm just
Okay.
want to make sure that the amount of water that's going into the system is capable of being handled by that system.
Of course.
Okay.
So moving on to the grading plan, these dark contours with the numbers and boxes indicate our proposed contours for the property. If you went and walked the site, for some reason, it always seems that way, that the contours on the paper don't really match what's out there in real life. In reality, it's much more level and flat than was depicted on these plans. But again, we're modifying the lots in the front, obviously removing the driveways and creating a new driveway for lot 45.2. So there is a little bit of grading in order to get this driveway in the way it needed to be. As you recall, this was the lot that did contain those steep sloped areas. So this is where a bulk of the grading is going to occur, not significantly changing grades at all. Our new lot 45.1, again, the idea is to just have as gentle a slope as possible. We're pushing the water down towards the Drexel Court extension, where it is going to be picked up by a series of swales. So these big, thick lines here indicate swales. So that's in order to ensure that, the water doesn't flow overland, end up in the street, sheet flow down, and get into the city sewer right away. The intent is to have the water flow across the property, get routed by these swales, and then captured and routed into our system. And again, we have a swale here, catch basin here. So the idea is to take all this water and not push it off any adjacent properties or push it onto the street where it'll just sheet flow away. But again, push it towards the proposed catch basins that we have around the property. And then again, it's going to get routed and detained into our system. Again, creating a better condition than what's there today.
Any questions on this part of the testimony? Okay.
Yep. Do you have a question? Leo? No? Okay.
Actually, just one
Yeah.
item. And Mr. Hale will chime in on this too. Drexel Court, that's a public street, correct? It's not a privately,
Correct.
It's publicly mapped. This may come up later on because this is just, a lot of times it's controversial when you extend something that's a cul-de-sac, but this is a publicly mapped street.
Yeah.
So this is an extension of a publicly mapped street. You didn't have to get any permission to go
Correct.
through an HOA or something like
Correct.
that for Drexel.
Correct.
I graduated in '93 from a long time ago. So the thing was, that was one of the things that came up in my graduate school years about cul-de-sacs upon cul-de-sacs. Now, unless there was some kind of condition of approval when Drexel Court was built, there's really not much you can say either way. That's why I want to put it on the record. They're extending a public street. So
Correct.
it's not like there's some, HOA was ruling on that. So,
Exactly.
all right, I have to put that for the record.
Thank you.
Just building off that, go ahead, Mr.
Yes,
Kadeem.
just follow up on that. So, not from an HOA, but wouldn't there be any permission from, I don't know,
The towns?
town or street or somebody, right? Yeah.
Well, what is the intention, maybe the testimony is, what is the intention to dedicate this extension to, or are you going to maintain it separately? I mean, that becomes a maintenance issue.
No, it would be dedicated.
You're going to dedicate
Yeah.
it, so then the township would be responsible for,
We'll take
Maintenance.
ownership of that piece of extension, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that would not be held by an HOA or anything.
Correct.
This would be dedicated, and it would become part of the city map, the township map.
Right. And the alignment is roughly 200 feet long, so it's not a very big extension either.
When you mention HOA, are the other homes going to be part of the HOA? Once the lots are subdivided?
I don't think that's,
Yeah,
we're going to leave that, that's not really an engineering
Yeah.
question.
Thank
We'll
you.
leave
Okay,
that
all right,
to-
no problem.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry to mention HOA.
It's okay.
No.
It was just an example. I wanted to make
No,
sure
that's
that we're
fine.
clear that there's no HOA above Drexel Court. We'll let them testify to that later on, so
Yeah.
my apologies, Mayor, on that.
No problem at all.
Okay. Okay, so moving on. And this is kind of getting into the weeds and sort of the boring stuff, talk about drainage areas.
That's what we're here for.
Okay, well, I mean, again, this is just, these are just requirements that we were working with the previous engineer. They had asked us to, delineate a bunch of drainage areas and catchment areas that supported our drainage maps. These hexagon boxes, they correlate to the comprehensive reports that we've prepared over the past year or so. Again, all we're doing is giving it areas. We have size, slope, the material, the ground cover, and we're generating flows, and quantifying all those areas, which again backs into our stormwater management design. And the same thing here. This is our proposed drainage map. Again, all these catchment areas. You can see like the square footage and our time of concentrations. Again, this all correlates to our stormwater management plan, and helps, and supports the design of the detention basin itself. And again, just roadway profiles, sections and profiles.
Just refer, when you do it, just
I'm sorry.
refer to this sheet.
Yes, that is, sheet 10 is just, again, just roadway profiles. The dash line in the sections here indicate the existing grades. The solid lines indicate the proposed grades. Obviously, fill, we're above the line, and we're cutting when we're below the line. And that's all been quantified too in our cut fill calculations that we've provided as well. Here we end up with our lighting plan. What I'll say about the lighting plan is, we are proposing 2 light poles. Again, but I did read the engineer's comments on that. So this is something that we will take another look at. Don't really want to testify too much about this because this plan will change. We are going to go down to 1 pole. I understand that JCP&L has a handbook. And then obviously whatever light pole we specify next, and we get the lighting illuminance and contours and foot candles, it'll be something that JCP&L approves, and then again will be in conformance with RSIS. And
Before you move on, so there's currently no lighting on Drexel Court, is that correct?
outdoor lighting, you mean street lighting?
Streetlights, correct.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't know if there's anything existing beyond what we're, beyond our extension here.
Just curious, the board's opinion on adding lighting to an unlit area, if that's something the township is generally in favor of or not in favor of.
Let me ask this question. So, your current plan proposes street lighting on what I'll call the Drexel Court extension. Where, Jeff, can you go to the plan where it shows where you have marked street lighting? Is that on there? It's just far away from you, so I can't really see it.
Yeah.
Just refer
we
to
have a
which
light.
page.
We have a light
Yeah,
here.
which page is that, Jeff?
This is page, I'm sorry, page 5.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Jeff, you were saying?
Yep, we're proposing a light here and a light, just lost it, right here. Right here.
So, your proposed plan showed 2 street lights.
Correct.
Okay. Now, one of those lights is near the stormwater management area.
Correct, this one right here.
Is it your testimony that that light needs to exist, or is just there extra relative to the stormwater management? Is there some connection between the street light and that?
Nope.
Okay.
That light could be relocated as seen fit.
Okay, so, and then the other street light appears to be, what I'll say is that, to be fair, to the bottom of the Drexel Court extension. Any basis for why it's there, Jeff?
No, none at all. We worked with a lighting vendor, and that just seemed logical at the time. Again, really, when it comes to lighting, with shielding, we could put a light anywhere
But
and make it work.
Can I ask, so you're proposing lighting on the street where there's no lighting right now that is existing? And the only reason why you're proposing it is because it's in our ordinance that subdivisions require lighting.
Correct.
So instead of asking for a waiver or variance to not put the lighting, we're only gonna put lighting on those couple houses and the rest of the street's gonna be in dark. I get it, I'm the zoning officer, I know we have ordinances, it's not one of my ordinances, but I just want the board members to understand that the plan is showing lighting for just those few houses if we approve this application, meanwhile, the rest of the street is not lit. Do we want to put lighting for a few houses to shine when the rest of the neighborhood has not requested any lighting on their street?
I'd like to hear from the residents if they want lighting on the street.
Well, but not right now. We'll open it up for a comment.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I think Mr. DiPiero obviously brings up a good point. I mean, my concern was whether or not you had placed the street lighting there in your expert opinion as an engineer, that the street lighting had to be there for some type of safety or engineering purpose. That's not the case. You're trying to comply with the ordinance.
Correct.
Which is what Mr. Held does very good work at. So, the open issue, which we'll put a pin in at this point, Chairman, based on Mr. DiPiero's input, is, we'll save that and we'll see, we appear to have a couple of members of the public here. Maybe they'll have something to say.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. And I think really after that, as far as the lighting goes, I mean, that really covers the bulk of the project. Again, sheet 12, we have some site distance information that was, more engineering related. Sheet 13 is a slope map, which we've already discussed. Sheet 14 is our soil erosion and sediment control plan. And then we just get into our construction details. So 15 to 17 are construction details.
And, I don't know if you said this already, you have the review of, Arthenon.
Correct.
Gonna work on that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna work on it.
Artheon.
Artheon, okay.
Stress on the art.
Yeah, well, you have that report, right?
I do. Right.
Okay. Mr. Held, do you want to address that report now, or?
I think
with
you
Jeff, or-
covered, almost all of them, Jeff. I know when we went through and prepared this, there were items where testimony was requested. Do you want to touch on those?
Sure.
And I think, Mr. Hale, that's probably mostly going to be engineering, because just to go on the record, not that I don't want to talk tonight, the planning comments, there's not a variance really requested. It's really that item one, there's, that your planner will testify to it, but that's testimony. Item two, we've already resolved about the steep slope. I'm on page 14, so.
I'm sorry, which?
Item three is a minor thing because you're saying, maximum gross area. It's just a typo. Fix the minimum gross area. You've already agreed to provide items not provided. You've said you'll comply with that. That's item 4. And then, we're recommending that you remove lot frontage. That's number 5, because it's not a standard. I mean, it's just, when I say recommend, it doesn't have to be done, but it's kind of, it's confusing when it's there.
I understand.
And then, the comment 6, I've already said RSIS is a duplicate of what a more thorough comment on on page 19, comment 3 under traffic, so I'll defer to that. And number 7 is my stock comment. In case it's approved, we recommend the plans be modified to cite all variances determined during the hearing. As of right now, we haven't determined any, so again, that would be, probably not applicable. And that's all I had on the planning side, so the rest of them were our engineer over there.
So we'll
It's gonna
turn
be
to
a
our
star.
engineer at this point.
Okay, great.
So, existing, or previously existing house, number 97 on Intervale, has granite block curb along the frontage of the roadway. Is that proposed to remain, and are you looking to extend that granite block curb through the other 2 lots there on Intervale?
We're not proposing it. But again, if that is a condition that the board wants, that's obviously something we're willing to be good neighbors and conform to.
Sorry, what was the question?
So, wait, you're talking about type of curbing.
Currently, there's no curb being proposed along Intervale. Existing lot 46, so that's house number 97, that's being rebuilt, has curb in front of it. The lots adjacent to it don't have curbing. I was wondering if any was being proposed or if any is being requested by the
Just my curiosity, what page is that on? Site plan comments?
Yeah.
Page 15?
No,
Comment number 3
Engineering.
on page
R-
15.
It's number 2.
So I think the default by the township would be in preference of curbing. So I think he indicated before that curbing would be added along Intervale as a condition of approval. Is that correct, Mr. Hell?
Yeah, and no problem with that.
All right, staying on curbing, Drexel Court is currently concrete, I believe, and the extension is going to be granite block. Is there a reason for choosing to make the change?
Nope, we can
Or-
keep it consistent and make it concrete.
I think once again, the township likes consistency.
Yeah.
So,
We don't object
so
to
there's
that.
no, if it were to be approved, so that there's not any discernible difference between those.
Yeah, let's make that a condition.
Absolutely, sure.
No problem.
There was a previous review letter from GPI dated March 11th that had suggested putting in a turnaround at the 2 driveways being proposed on Intervale. Is there a reason why one may or may not be required or designed in that area?
Yeah, so originally we did have a turnaround for the proposed lot 45.1, but what we needed to do essentially when we put this easement in, we do need to construct a small retaining wall here, which did not permit us to put, again, the driveway return for turnaround, and also the driveway would have been inside of the easement. And then we drove through the neighborhood and the properties surrounding, and most of the properties don't have turnarounds themselves. They just back directly out onto Intervale. I did it today. Obviously a turnaround would be great, but keeping the coverage down, and it is a doable maneuver. That's why proposed lot 45.1 does not have it, but lot 45.2 does have a bump out at the end of the driveway to allow for a front-facing exit on Intervale.
I have quite a few drainage comments. I'm not going to go through them all.
Yeah, we can.
Any issues with complying with those comments?
No.
A
We
lot
can
of
work-
it's requests for additional information, that type
Absolutely.
of thing.
Yep, we can get all that to you.
Okay. The plans indicate the name Nair Court on this cul-de-sac. Is this going to be a different road branched off of Drexel Court? Or what is the proposed naming convention there?
I think that's a question that I'm not gonna answer as far as the naming goes.
Oh, it's on the cover of your plan.
Yeah, I know.
And so
I think
I'm trying to
it was just the
understand
name
why
of the
that's-
project,
Okay,
necessarily not the name of the street.
okay.
But again, consistency, I don't think anybody's married to that name.
I know that you're not showing homes per se and looking for approval for homes. This is boxes. Is it envisioned that there would be garages for these, or is it just driveways?
No, each house will have a minimum 2-car garage with parking inside, and then additional parking inside the driveway area. And again, we're calling these boxes, but, we do have an architect on the project. These are probably almost pretty much what's going to be here at the
They
end.
look pretty fleshed
Yeah.
out. What impacts are you anticipating to the riparian zone that's along the existing drainage area?
None at all. We did have PK Environmental give us a report. This dashed line here indicates the riparian buffer. We are super close here.
It looked like the retaining wall and the fence are,
Yeah, they're right on, they're right there.
and you don't feel that there will be any disturbance during construction of those elements?
Again, it's one of these things where we'll have it staked out by a surveyor when it comes time to construction, and we'll make sure that it's fenced and protected. But obviously the intent is not to disturb anything inside of that riparian buffer. And we took a lot of time and care to put this whole thing together to avoid that.
Have you made application to the county planning board?
Not as yet. We want to wait and see if there were any modifications here. Certainly, that's a condition of approval.
Yeah, I think that was one of our waiver comments, and I think they agreed to make that a condition of approval that we get the Monmouth, listen to me, Morris.
A little north.
Yeah, a little far north. So, let's just say county, how about that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, any questions from the board members? Anything we haven't covered yet? All right, seeing none, I'll open it up to questions from the public. Let me just preface, the way that we normally handle these is there's a question segment where you can ask questions about anything of the engineer. If you have a specific comment that you'd like to make that be more specific to what Mr. DiPiero asked about, you could offer that after we cover the questions, if that is suitable to everybody. So with that said, please come forward, give your name and address. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. In order to, yes, that'll be fine.
Thank you. My name is Ed Amaducci. I live at 12 Alpine Road.
Would you spell your last name?
Amaducci.
Thank you.
You'll just want to, sir, you'll just want to be conscious about talking into the mic.
Yeah, you're fine, Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. 12 Alpine Road is also lot 38.01 on your map. We have a common line with the new proposed lot 45.4. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yep, right here.
I noticed on the demolition plan, you indicated, in the top right, as I'm facing it now, elimination of the existing chain link fence on the property. Right, the comments up there.
Yes, sir.
Is the fence between my lot and proposed 45.4 coming down, or is that remaining?
Whatever fence is on our property, either if it isn't our fence, it's going to be relocated to the property line. But if it is a fence that's on this specific property, it's going to be removed as part of the construction.
Okay. I don't know if it's appropriate, but my father installed that fence 40 years ago, and each pipe has a substantial concrete and stone foundation to it. So whatever method is used to remove them is going to destroy the adjacent garden that we have planted all along that fence line. My thought would be if I could work with the contractor to perhaps cut the pipes off at ground level or below ground level instead of removing them with the machine, that would be a great solution.
I don't think that would be a problem at all.
So can I ask, is the fence on your property or
No,
is
it's
it on
not.
their
It's on
property?
the 101 Intervale Road property.
Mr. Held, I think, maybe, your office,
Happy to talk to them.
yeah, I think if your office could interface with Mr. Amaducci
We'll
to
do it this
ensure
evening.
going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Bellows, 8 Drexel Court. Basically lot 12.
Mr. Bellows, just Bellows?
That's correct.
Go ahead, Mr. Bellows, I'm sorry.
Prior to NB filing to do a development, there was another contractor that looked at the property and they filed with the DEP an application to see where that stream is, doesn't fall within the wetlands. Was this ever filed? I have the exhibit
Well,
from
you,
the prior.
okay, so your question is,
Well, it
was,
wasn't filed with DEP because that is a stream that goes from Mountain Lakes, cuts along Lot 46. Part of your steep slope area is also part of the stream, and then it goes into concrete sewer pipes that were put in probably close to 30 years ago to enclose the stream. The stream comes out on my property, goes through, and this is an oversimplification of the area, and that's why there are a lot of questions regarding stormwater management and practices associated with it. That stream goes through my property, through my neighbor's property, the Patels, and then combines with another stream which goes through the ballpark area into the pond in the back. And some of those areas are prone to flooding.
okay, so,
The application for the wetlands was one of the questions that had been done in the past when people had sought to develop the property. I did not see one here.
Well, we had a report prepared by environmental company. It's been submitted to the board. You know, in their evaluation,
Did it go to DEP?
I will have to check to see. I will have to check. I can't say 100% certain, but, you know, their report dated July 2nd of this year, 2025. It says, completed a flood hazard area FHA assessment to identify the on-site limits of NJDEP regulated state open waters, SOW, and flood hazard area FHA in the immediate vicinity of the 3.296 acre property on Intervale Road. Residential property consists of an existing single-family dwelling. I'm just going to skip towards the important parts here. There is a small partially piped stream, state open waters, that bisects the northeast portion of the property, which is tributary to the Troy Brook, where its surface water quality designation is freshwater to non-trout. Significantly, the NJDP regulates a 50-foot riparian zone adjacent to the state open waters, but not where the water course is within a pipe or culvert. And as depicted on the grading plan, that's the buffer area that we discussed earlier. In addition, according to the USGS stream stats calculations, the contributing drainage area at this property is 32 acres, and as such, there is no NJDP regulated flood hazard area or floodplain where the contributing drainage area is less than 50 acres. So their conclusion, all proposed improvements depicted on this grading plan will be located beyond any regulated NJDP flood hazard area or riparian zone, and therefore no New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection FHA permit will be required.
So they did not file an application to determine, is what you're telling me.
I'm telling you that they did an evaluation and
wait, sir, you have to, when you ask the question, you gotta, it's like ping pong, we gotta ask the question, let them finish and then follow up, okay?
Sure. So their evaluations determined that, you know, anything less than 50 acres is not regulated. And they determined that 32 acres was the drainage area for this brook.
Okay, but you're putting all this other stuff right along where there's streams too.
I understand that, but we're not doing anything within a riparian zone or a buffer.
You couldn't answer that before when they asked how close it was to that zone.
I believe I did answer that question.
No, he answered that question.
That it's greater than
I'd
50
like to
feet.
see that the application gets filed with the DEP.
Well, either it is regulated by the DEP or it is not. I don't know what was done before. I don't know what the circumstances were. But normally when you have an application, one of the things that's done is determination of whether or not so again, I always butcher his name. What's stating is that they have an environmental expert report which indicates, and Mr. Helt can speak to this more eloquently than I can, but which indicates that as long as they're not, in essence, as long as they're not intruding into the riparian zone area, that there is no application necessary to DEP. Mr. Helt,
That's correct.
Can you give some color on that to the gentleman? He's concerned about it.
So again, that's why we we did have our environmental expert evaluate it and make that determination so that we were able to design the stormwater system accordingly.
When you talk about stormwater management,
Mr. Bellows, you just gotta get close to the mic, I'm sorry.
when you talk about stormwater management, you're experts and such. Common stormwater practice is to cover soil piles. Is that not correct?
Well, I'm not the one, you want to ask.
Is covering soil piles a standard practice with stormwater management?
You mean exposed soil piles?
Yes.
Yeah, it's typically surrounded by silt fence and other
Okay,
erosion
and
measures.
The soil piles that are at lot 46 that have been like this since December, any reason why they've never been covered?
That's something that I cannot speak to.
Right, but we're talking about professionals here and doing things right. And see, my property is right next to all of this. I mean, I get flooding at the end of my driveway every storm. Can you show on one of the things, the nearest storm drain to my driveway, knowing that all the water slopes down from that property? And can you show me where my house is on there?
You're lot 12, right?
Yeah.
This is you here?
Yeah, okay, so how far away is the nearest storm drain from me?
The existing storm drain is
Yeah.
on Drexel Court is
Right.
right there.
Okay, so I have flooding at my driveway, and all the water's gonna be running downhill from your new proposed court into my driveway.
Well, I did testify to say that this plan will be a net benefit on stormwater than what's there today.
If I have roads and...
Okay, these are questions.
Yes, that's part of it. is
Well, but it's
when you have
argument.
Roads, when you add roads, impervious surface, water runs down.
That's-
There are no drains there. I already have flooding.
Okay, so we have to have questions.
So let me just,
How are we going to assure that the flooding is not going to worsen in the area? We don't know who's going to be maintaining this system. It's kind of its own lot. It's all separated. I mean, I have a lot of issues with the way the lot is set up and the fact that they're not maintaining it at all.
Well, let me separate out about the current maintenance of the lot, right? The current maintenance of the lot is not what's before the board currently. However, if there are any issues with property maintenance of that lot that's handled by code enforcement, that's something that is done completely separate from this board's jurisdiction. So if there's any issues with the site currently, those should be brought up by you directly to property maintenance. Now, with regard to, you did have a question, which was about how can they be assured, and especially this gentleman who's right next to the stormwater management system, how can he be assured that the flooding which currently occurs at the bottom of your driveway as you go onto Drexel Court, how can that be, in essence, the gentleman's question is, how can that be different in the future with this and not worse than it already is?
Okay. Jeff, if you could touch on that, and plus, again, a stormwater management plan was prepared and reviewed by board professionals in addition to the applicant, but I'll let Mr. Jarian expand on that.
right, so, just real quickly on that, we are obviously proposing a new roadway. Like I mentioned before, about 200 linear feet of new asphalt roadway. And the road will be crowned, so it will push water to the left and to the right towards the curb lines. We're proposing 2 catch basins right before, the property line. So all the water is going to sheet flow down the curb line and then get intercepted by these 2 catch basins. It's then going to get routed into our stormwater system. So your property.
No, but what?
Go
The
ahead.
storm basin that you talk about, are those going into the stream?
Nothing is going into the stream.
Okay.
Nothing is discharging into the stream.
All stormwater basins on Drexel Court go directly into the stream.
They go into our basin.
No.
Nothing is being discharged into the
one
stream.
that's closest to my house, point to it.
This one?
Yes,
Okay.
that goes into the stream.
I don't believe that goes into a stream. That goes
Yes,
into
it
a
does.
sanitary that doesn't go into a sanitary sewer?
That would have to be reviewed by the township engineer. You're asking the engineer and planner who reviews the
Well, I'm
project.
telling you, it
The
goes
current
into the
township
streams.
engineer,
Quite
nothing
obvious.
should be going to
It
the
goes straight to the
streams.
stream.
I'm confused because that's not part of the application. That's part of your block. Their
Correct,
application
correct.
is so.
But that's why I'm asking about the ones that are just slightly upstream. Where are those
Yeah.
going to? Are
So-
those getting pumped
Yeah.
up into their
Well-
stormwater basin because there's a slope issue?
Yeah,
there, is
no,
there not?
sir, testimony was provided, that all of the water in the extension was going into their basin system.
Oh, okay.
And
How
then-
was it getting up to the basin?
No, it flows down into the basin, because the rest of the property is above the level of the basin.
The location.
All the
And I'm sorry, I
elevations-
shouldn't be testifying
Yeah, that's
for
fine.
you, but yeah, sorry.
Again, all of the elevations, all of the grade elevations, inlet elevations, base elevations are on the plan.
It shouldn't.
The plan depicts positive flow from all these areas into our basin.
I think those are legitimate points, great questions, but they are off the track that they're having. I mean, for him to be responsible, for this developer to be responsible for water that's flowing off the site, existing conditions,
I already
that's not,
did it
yeah.
for that property.
But then, again, those are good questions, but that's not part of the application that I can see.
Well,
there's
but-
a number of things on the application. If I take
Yeah.
a look at their.
But rightfully so, sir. I mean, we are very aware of the problems that water runoff can have for neighboring properties. That's specifically why this board has
Well, that's why I
questioned
was
that.
asking about the
Yeah.
wetlands and everything else, because there are flooding issues currently.
Sir,
Okay.
can I have your address again, please?
8 Drexel Court.
8 Drexel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. and-
So
By putting
I
additional
think-
curbs.
Right, so, right, so part of this is off-site. Part of it is also, obviously, you're relying on, those drains going, into your stormwater management system, and then going out into, I believe, Jeffrey indicated that, the water in the stormwater management area will eventually then seep out into the storm drains in Drexel.
Correct,
Correct.
yes, right.
Right.
And listen,
So-
go ahead. In fact, those, that does discharge to the stream, which is new to us today, and we will obviously investigate it. We can camera it and record it.
I was just gonna say, I would
But
think that it
if
would
that is
be,
the case, then I come up with an alternative.
right, I think that should probably be scoped.
I don't disagree with that.
You know, it's, one of these situations where, you know, the town gets developed over a period of time and different sections get developed. It's not one big, huge development in this way. Maybe that can answer some of the concerns. I think that probably these are concerns that are going to be repeated by other members of the public.
Sure.
So, you know, having that level of surety, I think will hopefully answer some of Mr. Bellows' concerns, because obviously, he wants to be sure that whatever the water condition is on his property is going to hopefully be better, but no worse than it already is.
No problem with that.
Going back to the tree trimming and that plan, can you pull that one up again, please?
Tree trimming?
one
The
where you're cutting
removals.
out the tree removals?
Sure.
Sir, we'll make this
Yeah.
your last question. You
Yes.
can come back if we, just so we can give other people a chance to, but, no, you can finish with this question and then we'll let other people.
I'm seeing all,
This is page 3.
okay. I'm seeing where the stream goes through and crosses into my property. That one whole section has nothing being removed. No trees. Is that not correct?
Are we talking right here?
Yes, that whole section, that whole rectangle.
This whole rectangle here?
Yes.
Yeah, we're proposing no development up in this area.
Okay, so you're not taking out any trees, not removing any dead trees. I've already had one of your trees fall on my property. I notified you people in advance, sent pictures, you've done nothing. The maintenance of the entire property I'm concerned with. There are a number of dead trees there. And I'm not seeing any of this being addressed. I'm not seeing any I have a lot of concerns. You're a contractor, and to say I take you at face value, I go with what I see. I see soil piles not covered. I see nobody maintaining the property at all since you've owned it for
Is that
a year.
vacant? Is that area vacant? There isn't any dwelling, so
No, it's all part of 97.
Correct,
There
but-
is a home there, they own it.
Correct, but our house,
And
my
they
housing
also own the
department,
other one.
my housing department that does property maintenance, we only remove trees from areas that are close to your property line if you state that there are
Right,
damage to your
and
property.
I've done that, I've
or
spoken with
near-
Leslie, I've had her at my house, I've had a tree hit my house, caused $1,000
So she
damage.
had those
Yes.
removed, but she
They were
wouldn't
not
have,
removed.
she wouldn't have the whole lot's dead trees
No,
removed.
just the ones that are gonna hit my house, and they
Yes.
have not done anything. Now, there are plenty of dead trees in that area.
When was the last time that you talked to Leslie?
I talked to her on Friday of last week.
Okay, so
I've
she's still
spoken to
currently
her
working on it.
Several times last year.
Because she told me
So-
that this application was coming and that she was working on the property maintenance, but that many of the property maintenance
Right,
and the
but
tree
that whole
issues.
section that goes
All right.
all along.
All right,
the property,
yeah,
nothing
Mr.
is being
All
done.
right, Mr. Held, no, that's fine. Mr. Held is, I know Mr. Held is taking copious notes.
We will
And,
address that.
but Mr. Held, I would just ask that you take those comments back to your, client and let him know
Certainly.
about that, and that the gentleman has several concerns.
No problem
About that
with that.
property maintenance, the dead trees and soil piles. If you
Sure.
can make note of that and have him try to address it independent of this.
Sure.
Now,
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Please come forward, ma'am.
My name is Kelly Ford. I'm at 105 Intervale. It's right next door. It's lot 40.
Right here.
So my questions are mostly about just the construction plan itself. I did look at the plans. Where is the construction driveway? Where will things be coming in and out?
Typically, what we do for alterations to existing plans is we'll utilize the existing driveway. So during construction, most likely it'll be here. And then when the Drexel Court extension begins, it'll be over here.
Okay. So, like, when I looked at the construction sequence, it looked kind of generic.
Yep.
Is the intention to grade and remove trees all in one fell swoop? Or to do
Typically-
it in pieces?
Well, that could, if we decide to stage it in a manner, that could be discussed with my clients further on down the road. But typically, it's, tree removal, some upgrading. The stormwater management system has to get installed, trenching for all the utilities. So if that could be done in a manner that's, obviously less disturbance as possible. But that's typically where the operation starts.
Okay, yeah, I guess my concern was just like with 4 new houses, it's gonna take some time to kind of get everything in, so if it was possible to stage,
We-
just so it's not all
We can
there.
certainly look at it and then put together a more comprehensive sequence for you to outline timelines and staging or sequencing operation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roberta Chapco, 93 Intervale Road,
Can you please just spell your last name for us?
Chopko. Okay, if I understood you correctly, your utilities, water and such is coming from Intervale.
Correct.
And as I understand, we're living there for almost 49 years. As I understand it, that road, Intervale Road, is Mountain Lakes. And we tap into a Mountain Lakes water line. I pay my water bill to Parsippany, but there's some sort of an arrangement between Parsippany and Mountain Lakes. So has Mountain Lakes been made aware of all this? Or do they have to be? I am assuming.
I mean, obviously, yes, we're gonna notify Mountain Lakes, but it is public waters, it is public water. We intend to utilize that main to service these homes.
Okay, and if I understand, 97 exists, 101 exists, and you're putting a house in between, that will become 99 Intervale Road?
I can't speak to the actual numbers, that hasn't been assigned yet.
The tax assessor's letter is in our packets, and it lists the new block and lots and their addresses.
Okay. I haven't reviewed
They're in
that.
that packet. That's what they're gonna sign.
Okay.
All right, then the Drexel Court extension, is going to be assumed serviced by the town sanitation department and fire department, and there is enough room there for a fire truck to get in and turn around, as well as a garbage truck?
Yes, it's designed according to the
You're
standards.
gonna be able to turn around at the base of that loop.
That's the intent.
That is the intent.
It's designed in accordance with the standards.
Jeff, why don't you give can you just give rough dimensions on that?
Yeah, it's a 100-foot radius, on the cul-de-sac, you know, like, so, you know, I mean, it's a standard cul-de-sac hole.
And that
I didn't, you know, we don't make them up. It's perhaps maybe, Mr. Steiger can speak more to the transportation aspect of it.
So there's gonna be another witness, who's maybe taking notes himself, and, will be able to address, that comment, because it's an important health and safety comment. I'm sure that the applicant will address that issue.
All right, on our property, and I think 93 is that furthest piece on your left there, correct? That's 93 Intervale, I think that's our block them off.
It's lot 48. I don't know, we don't have the street address on there.
Our property extends all the way back beyond the brook. So your retention basin is going to abut our property. No?
Hope not, because the water can't run uphill.
Yes, the basin is gonna be limited to right here adjacent to the street. This is all part of the lot, but this is uphill, so, you know, this is gonna remain untouched.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Buckner, 3 Drexel Court, Buechner. Just one point of clarification, you were talking about.
Could you speak up, please,
Lo-
into the mic?
Bring the mic a little closer.
Sorry. The construction entrance, you were pointing to something at the map, but I couldn't see it.
Oh, we were just talking about possible locations for the construction entrance, and I was saying that, you know, with the 2 homes that are fronting on Intervale, typically we use the existing driveways to access those properties. But eventually, we will, you know, have an access on Drexel to bring in the roadway and do the development there as well.
So none of the heavy construction equipment will be coming through Glenbrook and Drexel Court, because it's all connected, and it's a very narrow, twisting road to get into Drexel Court.
You're right, and I drove it today, and the truth is to have large construction vehicles coming down the way probably doesn't make much sense. So there may be an access there at some point, but the truth is most of that big equipment will probably be accessed through Intervale, and, you know, we do have the large lot, so there is plenty of room to bring in equipment and stage it all right here while everything else is being modified. And if we can indicate that on the plan as well, that's where the access will be in the staging areas for any materials.
Another 2 quick questions.
Sure.
Has this whole project been approved by the Morris County Soil Conservation District?
A plan has not been submitted to the district yet. We do have a plan included in our set. You know, typically, once the plan is voted on and approved, then it is sent down to the district. And that's just a strategic thing, because every sort of deviation or edit has to get back down to the district again, and there's a fee for every new review.
Approved here, then you go to Morris County?
Yeah, again, but no one's gonna give us a permit until we have the certification from the district anyway. So this plan in its infancy, will end up in the district, and we will have our certification before we start.
So,
And then the same thing with the Morris County Planning Department?
correct, that came up before. Also.
Yeah.
Mr. Buckner, that's a great question. So I'm over here. In our letter, we always have the last part, the applicant should discuss letters of no interest and or approvals by outside agencies. It's just a catch-all. When the first one is Morris County Soil Conservation Districts. So thank you very much for asking. This saved us a little bit of time. And also Morris County Planning Board. Those are two listed. It's on our review letter, page 23. So thank you very much.
I can get to page 23.
That's okay. Not many people do. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Andy Chaffo, CHOFFO, 5 Glenbrook Drive, Parsippany. First, thank you for your volunteering on this board. It's greatly appreciated. I know what it means to give up your time to volunteer on boards like this. Just a few questions. Can you tell me who the environmental company was that did the wetlands delineation?
Sure, it's PK Environmental out of Chatham.
And there were no delineations that this plan has to take into account for class 1, 2, or 3 waters, the riparian setbacks are in accordance with the DEP regulations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. People have brought up the construction traffic. I think it's a valid point. I think we saw you walking the property today. Your wife said, there's a tall, bald guy walking on the property. So, well, I'm a short, tall guy, so it wasn't me, so. Yeah, I think the residents would appreciate to the greatest extent possible that the construction traffic did enter and exit the site from Intervale. It's almost a quarter of a mile loop to make the right onto Glenbrook, make the right onto Drexel, and then go down to the end of Drexel. It would seem from an efficiency standpoint as well as a liability standpoint, the less traffic you have on a residential street like that, it would make more sense to come up with Intervale if possible for the project.
Yeah. We don't disagree, and we can reflect that in an amended plan.
Sure. And, being you drove it today, so that section of town, if you've not been down, it was put in the 1960s. I believe it was apple orchards prior to it being a subdivision back then. And it's almost like the land that time forgot in many ways. It really hasn't changed over the years. We've been there almost 30 years. And all the houses are very, very similar, right? You can walk into any house and close your eyes and know where the light switches are, know where the bathrooms are. It's an interesting part of the town. And to go to the point of sidewalks and streetlights, and I don't speak on behalf of the residents of the two streets, Drexel and Glenbrook, but I think it would be looked upon very favorably if there were no sidewalks or streetlights put in, because there are none in the existing neighborhood. So Mr. Bello spoke before, so the one property, a sidewalk is literally dead end into his front yard.
We need a question.
So would you consider requesting a variance for sidewalks and lighting in the extension?
We'll defer to the board on that.
Right. So normally when the applicant has made a plan which is compliant, and obviously when we get to the comment section, we're going to hear from the public, and then the board will make its determination at that point whether or not it's in a better planning alternative to not have the sidewalks and lights, but we're going to keep that in mind.
Thank you, Mr. Bunce, I appreciate that. And my last question, probably two-parter, is this the same developer that had originally worked on 97 Intervale?
I don't think that that's something that would be something the engineer can answer. I mean, he's been engaged on this matter.
Correct.
So we don't know that. Okay. The reason I asked that, and I think it was brought up, is
we need a question.
Sure. So 97 Intervale had a foundation poured and the house mostly demolished in December of 2025. Shortly thereafter, a big red stop construction.
Right. So okay. So anything with property maintenance or construction code that's outside the jurisdiction of the board.
Okay. So my question is, how can the residents be assured that if it's the same developer and for whatever reason that permitting was stopped on construction, that for this larger subdivision, we're not going to see construction delays that, again, further impact our peace and quiet?
My zoning construction, my departments are zoning, construction, planning, board of adjustment, housing,
Yeah.
and fire prevention. We will all review permits at the time. We make sure all prior approvals, we expedite them as quickly as possible. And we did sticker that because there was a misunderstanding, but that has nothing to do with this application.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed Laskowski, 1 Drexel Court, Laskowski. I know you're talking about the 2 construction entrances and stuff like that. Are you guys gonna have the PD there to help with traffic? Because when it comes in, the trucking industry and bringing a lot of that heavy equipment, Intervale's not a big street as it is, it's not that wide. Drexel Court and Glenbrook are not that big. What are you guys gonna do to, and especially where you're gonna be doing the construction, you're on that hill, and it is a blind hill coming up. How are you guys gonna set up the trucks to get equipment into the site without blocking up the traffic on Intervale and causing, delays and problems there? Because then you also have a lot of people that do walk Intervale, walk Glenbrook, and walk Drexel.
Well, obviously, we'll do whatever we have to do to make sure that everything is done in a safe and effective manner.
And we
I
would
mean,
coordinate with the,
Yeah,
with
if
municipality
there's going to be some
construction
need
department.
to block off or impede the traffic on Intervale, they'll have to interface with the Township Police Department. Appropriate measures need to be taken. There's a whole thick book
Okay. No, 'cause
on
I know
this
because your DPW right now with your garbage trucks can't turn in Drexel Court. They can't do U-turns with the fire department or the DPW. So how's that gonna have an effect, through that area now?
Well, the fire department did a letter, according to the chart on the front here, we did get a letter with comments from the fire department dated 8/13/24.
Right, they had no,
I know the fire department has a problem with, because it's such a long stretch, to lay lines
Did
down and
anybody
you can't get trucks
find that
by
memo?
if there's gonna be a fire down there.
Nora, do you have that memo? I mean, this is given to the district fire department, the volunteers, not my fire prevention department, but the actual volunteers put up. These proposals are given to them, and they have an opportunity to comment.
So-
They did comment.
so from the fire department, Parsippany-Troy Hills Fire District 6, from the chief of the department on August 13th, 2024, indicated with regard to the proposed development, they had no issues or comments on the above site plan. So, but the point is taken that, and I think Mr. Held is once again taking copious notes, with regard to ensuring that the construction is done in such a way as to reduce the impact on neighboring properties, do proper controls, the silt fences, so on and so forth, and also to ensure that traffic can flow freely through that area to the extent possible. Obviously, you'll need to interface with the Township Police Department.
Correct.
And then
No
one
problem.
last question. If and when you stop using the construction entrance on Intervale and go to Drexel, if a truck, God forbid, backs into somebody's driveway, does some damage, rips the curbs out, who's gonna be responsible to do all the repairs? Or who do we contact when there's damage on our property?
If the contractor causes damage to private property, the contractor's responsible for that. We have multiple township codes and ordinances about that hold them responsible for any of those repairs. And if they put something in and it's not done appropriately, the contractor is responsible for it at the end of the day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question,
Yes.
yeah. I was just looking at,
well,
yeah.
I guess,
You make no issues.
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Deitch?
I think
Oh,
they have-
okay,
Yeah,
yes.
I saw the same, it's a typo, because if he had them, I think he would have said what
Yeah.
they were.
That's
But
what I
think
thought,
he-
but should we be getting a revised letter, maybe just to be sure,
We actually,
Well,
2 years down the line, right, we are not going to remember that.
Yeah,
we did reach out and confirmed, and it was a typo, and we'll make
Okay.
sure he issues an updated,
Thank you.
right.
updated memo.
Okay, any other members? of the
Any
public?
other members of the public?
This young
Yes,
lady.
please come forward.
My name is Rekha Patel. I'm from 6 Drexel Court.
Okay, do you want to orient the engineer as to where that is? Because he only knows blocks and lots, he doesn't know addresses. Not that he doesn't know addresses, but blocks and lots would be easier.
Would this be you right here? Do you have the stream on your?
At the opposite side of Chuck.
Right
Yeah.
next to it. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Okay. In terms of the stormwater and all of that, the maintenance that you're talking about, at the moment, we do get, water damage and overflow. So can you explain again how you're going to manage that? Because I'm really concerned with the overflowing of the water and coming into the stream.
Okay, well, from the 30,000-foot view, this whole property has no stormwater management system on it today as it exists. So everything follows the natural topography. So it is all flowing this way and then down towards Drexel. So you are seeing, you are seeing that water. No one's going to deny that. But as part of our proposal, we have a comprehensive utility plan with catch basins and swales and a very large bioretention system in catch basins in the street. So the objective is for all of this whole proposed development, all the new impervious that we're putting in, roofs, driveways, and roads, is not going to impact you any more than it is today. In fact, it's going to be a net benefit. You're going to be seeing less water today than as a result of this project. In our stormwater report, our calculations demonstrate that. All the water is going to be pushed back down this way. We have a series of swales guiding all of the water to these catch basins that we're putting in. Again, these big thick lines are all swales pushing the water to catch basins, which are all going to be routed. We have 2 catch basins in the street catching all that water, and it's all ending up right in here.
Sir, could you just explain everybody what a swell is?
It's essentially just a depression. It's a natural grass depression that it's designed to channel and route water exactly the way it is. If I have a detail on one of these sheets, I'll show it to you.
Right. Yeah, sir. So when we're answering questions from the general public, we receive these questions all the time. We're a little bit more aware. You have to be a little bit more.
Understand.
Okay.
So this is the detail of a grass well. So this, again, this hatching delineates a lawn area. This is just a depression. So the water is going to flow in here, stay in here, and be routed according to this depth and slope, and that's what our grading plan does. So it's going to move the water towards the catch basins that we're going to be installing.
Yeah, because my property is right next to Troy Brook. And at the moment, when we have storms, Troy Brook sometimes overflows. And with this extra water that's going into it, my property is going to get even more flooded.
Yeah. Maybe on a layman's term, because I'm just a simple planner, the engineer could probably answer this a little more. Didn't the DEP have new regulations that you have to comply with, the Department of Environment, on stormwater regs?
Oh, yeah. They do a very good job of changing them all the time.
Well, but they're more stringent than it was even last year.
We've had to redesign this thing twice due to the new regulations.
So I'm saying this for you, Mrs. Patel.
Okay.
These are regulations designed to protect flow from going from new development, so they retain this water. So that's why I'm just trying to emphasize, they're just not doing this because they're doing it. They have to comply with regulations, and these are the higher regulations. Mr. Chapo said something, that this was built 30 years ago, the prior? 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that there were no DEP regulations back then. So the point is, these new developments have to comply. And you have legitimate questions about your site, Mr. Bellows had for his, but you have sites that were designed 40, 50, 60 years ago, not under these current standards. So maybe if you could elaborate, you said you had to redesign it twice, right, to make it even more,
well, again, we had
more, right?
More, yeah, way more conservative. We had an original design. We were going with back and forth with the previous board engineer, and then during that time, before the plans were even submitted, the regulations had changed. So all that time and effort to develop one stormwater management plan basically had to get thrown out the window because the state changed the guidelines, and then we had to do another one.
And again, I went to a redevelopment conference last week as part of continuing education, and this was a big topic of conversation. So, I mean, and it's designed in general from the 30,000-foot view to protect protect this from flowing on your property.
Yeah, because, I mean, the environment at the moment is, pretty bad, and storms are more frequent. And if this is not managed well, I'm going to have my, ground floor flooded all the time.
Wonderful
And that's not
question,
what I'm
yeah.
expecting to do.
Yeah.
Because I have a stream at the back and on the
Mhm.
side. The Troy Brook runs on my side, and then at the back, where Mr. Bellows has the stream, I have that running through as well. So you can imagine.
You can imagine
the
your
impact
concern.
that
So
can
I wanted to
have,
put,
yeah.
he has, these are tough regs.
Yeah, and that's why when he mentioned about the storm management system, who's responsible for that? And if there is any issues, who do I go to get that rectified? If it damages my property, who is liable for it?
Well, what's this, before in my colloquy with Mr. Held about the stormwater management system, when these type of set-asides are done, where a lot is being identified specifically for stormwater management, what needs to be done is, first of all, what they're going to prepare and file. So it's going to be it's going to be recorded with the county. There's going to be a stormwater management plan recorded with the county. And the reason why that's done is, in essence, to hold the parties' feet to the fire, not just today, but 30 years into the future, because who knows who's going to own those homes, right? So they want to, that's part of the requirement. The other part of the requirement, which I was discussing with Mr. Held before, is that there's normally an agreement placed among the homeowners and also with the township to say, in essence, that they are responsible for that cost, that they are responsible for the maintenance, they are responsible should anything go wrong with it, and that if they can't handle it for whatever reason, that the township has the right to go in and take care of it for the health and safety of the community, and then charge back to the group that's responsible for it. That's a normal, I'm boiling it down, but that's the normal customary way to do it, so that you as a homeowner and the other homeowners in the area could be assured that there is something in place that is recorded, you can view it, and that there is something which holds that group of homeowners' feet to the fire, and that the township can come in and hold that group's feet to the fire if there's a need to. And hopefully there's not. Hopefully it's well maintained and you don't have any water in your basement. Mr. Held, do you want to add anything on
No,
that?
I agree 100%. Yeah, that's why, as council indicated, there's a stormwater management plan. It gets recorded so that any subsequent owner of the property is on notice. And as also, as our engineer and the board planner indicated, then there's very strict DEP regulations that govern all of these projects.
Thank you. And then in terms of the timeline for this project, I mean, it's opening up our cul-de-sac. There are young kids that play in that cul-de-sac. You're opening it up in terms of the extension and the timeline that it's going to take. And I'm a little concerned how long it's going to take, looking at that property on Interville, the 97, and I don't want it to be disturbing our environment for, a couple of years, 5 years. I don't know how long it's going to take. So is there an assurance of how long your project is going to take for it to be completed?
Well, we'll be working with the construction department and
I'm just mindful, there are lots of kids that play on Drexel Court and, they enjoy
They would have to,
cul-de-sac.
right, and as I said before, with regard to Intervale, the same thing would happen with Drexel. There would have to be interfacing with the Township Police Department and appropriate measures taken to ensure that construction vehicles are in the appropriate location, and should they not comply, Ms. Smith's office or somebody else in the township would be the one to intercede to ensure that they are complying and they are keeping the area safe during the construction. There's a number of requirements. Like I said, there's a big thick book they have to follow.
Okay. And just like the others reiterated that, the safety in terms of the fire trucks. At the moment, I see it in the morning when the garbage truck comes, it backs up.
Well, we're gonna have maybe
So-
more testimony on that issue.
Yeah, so I just want to, also with my other, residential people, that I want to reiterate that fact. Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nancy Chaffo, 5 Glenbrook Drive. First of all, I don't know if you're aware that Drexel Court and Glenbrook Drive, you can't get to Drexel Court without going through Glenbrook Drive. So I don't know if anyone's driven the area. When you come down Intervale Road, there's a curve on Glenbrook, and then there's another curve, and then you go down, and there's curves all the way down to get to Drexel. We have children of all ages, newborns to high school kids on that road. So it's really imperative that you use Intervale Road as your construction site to come in and out of the driveway. I only heard you say probably use Intervale Road, but it would be very hard to get out of Glenbrook Drive or Drexel if the truck is coming down the road. You can't drive a garbage truck and a car next to each other down those streets. So if we're going to have giant construction trucks, especially dump trucks, I see how they drive,
We need a question.
we have to be very careful. Are you aware that it is also Boonton address? Those streets are all done by the Boonton Post Office. So everyone on Drexel Court, Glenbrook Drive, and that whole area is 07005. That's our address, not Parsippany. We live in Parsippany, we pay taxes to Parsippany, but Boonton delivers our mail. So was the Boonton Post Office also would have to be informed of another street coming off those streets?
I'm not sure you want to involve the United States Postal Service.
No, well, just to be aware, just to make you
But
aware of that. But I just
yes.
would like to know if we can get more than a probably that we could use
Well,
Intervale as
so-
the main source.
So the planning board has limited jurisdiction, but I think what the planning board is trying to do is try to hear the concerns of the public, and I know Mr. Held, on behalf of the applicant, is trying to listen to the concerns of the public. The staging of construction is not technically in the jurisdiction of the board. However, I think that Mr. Held and his team have heard, and they will certainly go back to their plans and ensure that they're going to use Intervale to the degree they can. Obviously, at some point, they will have to be on Drexel because of the work that's being done over there, but the degree to which they can do the majority of the work without impeding Drexel, I think, Mr. Held, you would agree with me, is probably just a good call.
But we talk about Drexel and Intervale. Don't forget about Glenbrook, because many of the residents here, we live on Glenbrook, and you can't get to Drexel without passing our homes. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that, and that was one of my main concerns. And the trucks coming down.
Yep.
So I want to make sure
Noted.
you're curious.
Yeah.
Also, a quick question would be all these site plans. You're talking about building houses. Does anyone know how many bedrooms, how many baths?
That's
Size of
not
these
part,
homes?
that's not part of the application,
Okay,
that's not
okay. We were just wondering.
jurisdiction of the board.
Okay, thank you.
They're all single, but they are all
single
family, which is the more important
Definitely.
point.
And if there's any variances to the site plans, those would have to be brought before the board also.
Right.
Okay, any other questions from the public? All right.
Actually, I have a question of the witness at this point, because it brought up something that we've run into many, many times. The state of New Jersey makes it illegal for a new project to cause greater runoff onto their neighbor's property. This project is a little different in that the runoff might affect the neighbor to the neighbor's property rather than just because of the way that the piping and the streaming are done. What are the state regulations on that? Because I never experienced that before.
So in essence, I think what Mr. Dinsmore is asking is, in terms of your review of the stormwater regulations, how, not, I don't want to use the word global, but how comprehensive is that review? Are you looking at the effect beyond just adjacent sites? I think is that correct, Mr. Dinsmore?
Well,
part of our analysis is we take an existing conditions plan, and we quantify all the stormwater, in that drainage area in an existing condition form. So we can quantify that number. We know what that number is. And then post-construction, it's our job to make sure that it's reduced by a certain percentage. And there's a whole, there's a lot of reductions that need to be met. So essentially, the post-construction measures in development is going to generate less water than what's there today. So when you're talking about impacting things downstream, there's going to be less water impacting the downstream portions of the system than there is today, because it's all going to be detained on our property and released back into the system at a rate slower than what it is today.
so if everything goes to plan, the flooding that occurs on Ms. Patel's property is likely to be reduced.
If there is water from our properties,
Yes.
contributing to that flooding, then yes, and there would be a reduction in that volume of water that she may be seeing,
Okay,
yes.
because I heard a lot of talking around it, but I think that's really what she wants to know.
Right, I mean, I haven't studied her drainage area, I don't know where that water is coming from, but certainly if there's water from these lots, our property, that are impacting her property or any of that water, it is going to be a lesser impact than it is today as a result of the project.
So if she were to find herself with more water than she had before, she could call the town engineer, I guess?
Correct. Justin Lizzo, Township
You
Engineer.
call the town engineer and say, I think there's a bigger problem here. The town would come and look at it, and they say, by golly, you're right, or no, I don't think so. And they would then contact you and say, what are you gonna do about it?
Exactly.
Okay, they're trying to reduce it to
I understand,
levels
yes.
that the people who are gonna have to deal with the results of this can handle.
Yeah, and again, that is the objective, the DEP sets these guidelines and these development restrictions, which is essentially to minimize development. But again, the key thing is, the rate of flow off the property has to be reduced in a manner that's less than existing today, and in substantial reductions. And our design meets all that.
So just to add on to his, just for more for public, what is your calculation? What is the number of gallons this bioretention will hold? So let's say we have rain for 2 days. How much can this bioretention can hold?
I mean, we're really getting into like a lot of quantities. Like the report's about that thick.
Just gallons.
We work in cubic feet.
Cubic feet. All right.
But I don't have those numbers at my fingertip. I can open my model. I'd be happy to tell you. But as far as the site plan, that information isn't included on the site plan because a separate report and calculations are submitted to the township engineer, and like that design is reviewed separately than the actual site plans.
But going to the question, maybe.
But it is a 100-year storm. 100 years, and a future, a storm for the year 2050.
All right, so in order to answer the member's question, rather than talking about the gallons or cubic feet, I only drove past an engineering school once. Just explain to the public what the 100-year storm is.
So you could imagine, right, if you had, let's just say you had a football field and it was all grass, right, and you took 6 inches of water and you dumped it on the grass football field, it's probably gonna, let's say the grass football field was sloped a little bit, some of the water's gonna percolate to the ground, some of that water's gonna sheet flow off, right? That's what we're used to with lawn. But now I put a road there. If I dump 6 inches of water on a road, that water's gonna stay there, right? And then it's also gonna flow at a much higher rate than it did when the grass was there, right? So it's my job to ensure that I quantify So again, I'm taking that 6 inches of water and dumping it on a grass football field, and I'm calculating the time and the volume and the rate at which it's going. And I know what that water is. Now I'm taking it on a road, and that water's moving much faster and a much higher velocity. But that water needs to be reduced to a rate slower than when it is on the grass football field.
Absolutely.
All right.
I was just trying to help public
Right.
to understand that number because I also work for NYDEP. I've
Okay.
built hundreds of yards of basins myself and dumping that water in Hudson River, so I've done all those calculations.
Mhm.
When I tell them that number, they'll be satisfied, oh, it can hold this much of cubic water. And that make them really
Okay,
happy.
well, I
That's-
could open up my model, I can give you that answer.
Yeah,
But Jeff, on that 100-year storm, just explain what that 100-year storm means to the public. What does that really
It's
mean?
the probability of that 100-year storm occurring. So again, and it's essentially designed for like 6 inches of rainfall. So it's a very large quantity of water.
So that's a higher standard. The 100-year storm is a higher standard.
Yeah, we have to
than
meet the
what-
standard for the 2-year, the 10-year, and the 100-year storm. Right.
Right.
So
It used to be, I think, in terms of what Ron was asking you before, that standard used to be lower. Now the standard is at the 100-year storm, right?
Now we have to design for a future storm.
Right. And that's what you designed it according.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say in a non-technical term, isn't these detention basins, aren't they sort of like timed release? You know, it goes in, it just doesn't sit there stagnant.
Correct,
It goes
yeah,
out
so-
slowly.
Yeah, so there's complicated outfall structures with orifices and weirs. So again, the water, it backs up into the basin, and it essentially has a dam system in it. And there's orifices that release the water. So only as much water that can fit through that orifice at a time is what goes through.
And I'm not trying to pro or con, this is more so the public understands that these things are designed to let it out slowly.
Correct, so-
Not like one big
Correct.
big
So if you
bunch.
can imagine all this water that flowed down this whole property today, and ended up on Drexel, all this sheet flowed, and then it went right down and ended up on Drexel. Now it's all gonna end up in a big basin, big swimming pool, and it's gonna get slowly discharged over time through a small little orifice back into the system. So before, when it was almost instantaneous, it was ending up on Drexel. Now it's going to be, again, time released at a very low rate, stored on our property, and then released through the weir orifice, through the stormwater system, back into the city sewer.
I don't live in the township. I have 2 sump pumps in my house. So if anybody wants to know, believe me, stormwater is a big concern, and, you know, it's a public concern. I just want the public to know this. Again, I'm not pro or con. This is just the facts. I don't know if anyone remembers the TV show Dragnet. You know, Joe Friday used to say just the facts, and
Just
that's
the
what I'm
facts.
trying to bring out, the facts. So, it's understandable. Because like I said before,
No, ma'am.
Can't do
Ma'am,
that.
no, you can't.
Sorry.
Can't do it from the, can't
You
do
can
it.
come here to be on the record.
No. We gotta bring this in. No, whoa, time out. You have to understand, this is a quasi-judicial board. What does that mean? That's a fancy legal word. I gotta use one every day, otherwise they come take the law license. All right? So there's important that we keep a clean record, okay? So comments from the public have to be on the record. We had the question time. We're gonna try to finish up Mr. Agarian's testimony so that Mr. Held can present his next witness. But obviously the concern, I think we treaded the concern about the stormwater, which I know they're gonna do their best to deal with.
Can I mention something about the 100-year flood?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. DiPiero.
There are some people in this audience I recognize that were here in the 1980s. Lower Lake Hiawatha used to flood. The Rockaway River would overflow, and 60 homes would be underwater. They'd be taken out in rowboats for years and years and years. In the 1980s, we built a wall along the Rockaway River for the whole length of Parsippany. There's a 100-year flood wall that we built with 90% federal money to protect all those homes in Lower Lake Hiawatha. And it worked. It lasted, people started fixing up their homes, we redid the roads down there. It lasted for 29 years until we got a 500-year flood. One time it happened. But that's a 100-year flood wall down there that protects them almost all the time, except something really extreme happens. And by the way, that 500-year flood was not really the fault of the wall. All of the Rockaway River and all of the other rivers that are tributaries to the Passaic River, and eventually into the Hudson River, all those tributaries backed up. So the Rockaway River, the water couldn't flow into the Passaic River because all the tributaries are trying to get there at the same time. And that's when it overflowed our 100-year flood wall. But we have a 100-year flood wall in Parsippany that we built in the 80s.
Okay. You're gonna, you know what, Kim, would it be okay to just say that for, after we hear from the rest of the witnesses? Okay, I appreciate that. All right, we'll conclude the questions for now, allow you to bring up forward your
Sure.
next witness.
Yes, I'd like to now call upon Joseph Steiger.
All right, so, Mr. Steiger's testifying tonight as a traffic expert.
Engineer.
Okay. Do you swear for and tell the truth for this planning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, Mr. Steiger, you've been qualified in the field of traffic engineering in front of multiple boards over your career. You hold a certificate in licensing in traffic engineering, and that certificate is good currently in state of New Jersey?
Special engineer, yes, it is.
And, right, sorry. Good thing you answered that. And just quickly, the benefit of your education?
Yes, Bachelor of Science, Master of Science degrees, New Jersey Institute of Technology. Also been an adjunct professor of traffic engineering at NJIT. Again, professional engineer's license, professional planner's license, state of New Jersey, in good standing. Again, I've appeared before this board on numerous occasions. I see some familiar faces. To my right over here, I can testify that I've been here before.
All right, so Chair, I think we can accept Mr. Steiger in the field of traffic engineering.
And he is also a
Except
professional
a planner.
planner, but since there's no variance relief being sought, but if there was a
Well,
question,
don't
he
keep
can
it to,
answer.
we don't have to pay him twice.
That's all right. All right. So, Mr. Steiger, I know that your office prepared a traffic impact statement, and there were some questions raised in the review regarding RSIS and other items. So if you could briefly review provide an overview of your traffic impact statement and answer the questions raised.
Yeah. The traffic impact statement that was submitted as part of the application dated March 11 of this year. And it goes through the existing conditions, field visits and measurements that we took along Glenbrook Drive as well as Drexel Court, the roadway speed limits and so forth. We made a collection of all the information that would affect traffic in around the area. And then secondly, to establish an impact, or potential impact of what the proposal will generate, we made projections of trip generation. There are 4 new single-family homes. One will have access directly on Intervale Road, and 3 of them will have access on Drexel Court, going out to Glenbrook, and then out onto Intervale Road. So we have a split of traffic that would be generated by the 4 new homes. The Institute of Transportation Engineers documents what the trip generation is for various land uses, one of those being single-family homes. In essence, during the peak hours, and the peak hours are the typical rush hours between 7 and 9 a.m. on weekdays and 4 to 6 p.m., it will generate 1 trip per hour for each of the homes. So during the peak hour that occurs during that time frame, those 2 hours of where the rush hours occur, we'll see an addition of 4 vehicles being generated or added to the existing roadway network in the area. Would be split theoretically or Statistically, 3 of them will use Drexel Court out to Intervale, and the one home would generate 1 trip directly on Intervale Road. When we look at impacts, what does that mean in terms of potential impacts that would negatively affect the surrounding roadway network? The standards by either ITE, the Institute of Transportation Engineers, or the New Jersey DOT is somewhere between 50 and 100 trips per hour. Here we are at 3 or 4 trips per hour, and therefore will not fall within that threshold of what potentially could be an impact. So the conclusions that I can make based on that is that this would have no significant impact on traffic conditions in the area because of the very low volumes that we're dealing with. I did review and work hand in hand with Mr. Garion on the development of the site plan to ensure that we have safe access in and out of the site. The roadway width is 28 feet, matches the existing width of Drexel Court, and the cul-de-sac bulb is a 40-foot radius, which again meets the RSIS standard. That roadway width of 28 feet and the 40-foot radius of the bulb are the RSIS minimum requirements. So we do comply with RSIS in terms of layout and design. The need for a sidewalk is an RSIS standard. This board can waive that requirement as a de minimis exception to the RSIS. And with, I believe, in my view, will fit into the character of the roadway network of Drexel Court and Glenbrook Drive as well. Number of parking spaces, we feel that the number of bedrooms, so the number of parking spaces is based on the number of bedrooms of the single-family homes. For a 4-bedroom single-family home, you need 2.5 spaces per home. How you do that, I wouldn't know. But RSIS allows you to drop the 0.5 when it's 0.5 or low. So in essence, for a 4-bedroom home, you need 2 parking spaces. For a 5-bedroom home, if it happened to be that 1 or 2 or 3 of the 4 of these homes might be 5 bedrooms, which we don't anticipate, the layout kind of is conducive to a 4-bedroom home. You would need 3 parking spaces. We have 2 garages in each home, and certainly we have 1 parking space that would be provided, if not more. If you look at the site plan as well, you can put at least 4, maybe 5 parked cars total between the 2-car garage and the driveways. So we meet the RSIS standards. Jeff and I worked on the layout to ensure that we use that as our guide in designing this. But again, I believe the sidewalk that doesn't meet the character of the area could be eliminated, and this board can waive that requirement of RSIS. But all the other standards, we are in compliance with RSIS.
And I assume, again, no problem in any of the comments that are raised on pages 18 through 20 of the engineer and planner's report.
We can provide documentation to provide that information.
Okay, great. I have no further questions of Mr. Steiger.
Is Steiger going to address that issue of the street lighting, whether or not he feels that that's necessary for the roadway? Any need for?
Yeah, good point. Since it's at the dead end of the cul-de-sac, traffic speed is very light at that location. If anywhere, you probably would want a light elsewhere on Glenbrook or Drexel, but certainly not at the bulb at the end, which speed is diminished down there. So I don't believe that the roadway needs the lighting as well as a safety aspect as well. It's not a RSIS standard. It might be part of your site development standards, but again, I think that easily can be waived and still provide safe access.
So there's no overwhelming planning need for, I know I didn't put your planner hat on, but from a traffic perspective, there's no need for a street light there, should the board
Yes.
look at it that way.
Yeah, I don't believe there is.
Okay.
Nothing further at this time.
Any questions from our engineer?
None.
Okay.
More comment. I like sidewalks. And it's advice to the board. Just because the other part of Drexel wasn't built with sidewalks, we had testimony already, actually from one in the public, that this was built decades ago. In planning in the 21st century, we encourage walkability. To waive sidewalks, you gotta start someplace. You know, if you keep waiving it, then you're never gonna get sidewalks. That is for the public good. When we talk about safety of children and stuff, instead of run around in the street, at least have a sidewalk to walk on. That's my 2 cents. I don't think it should be waived. That's my recommendation. I mean, they're proposing sidewalks. I don't think it should be taken out of the plan. That's just me, but I defer to you guys.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board members? Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I do agree about the sidewalks. Having first-hand dealing with some public safety issues in the town, sidewalks has been the one thing that many people have asked. I know there's always a fight that, not in my, I guess, backyard or front yard. But, sidewalk does promote a healthy lifestyle for folks to walk. What I observed in Parsippany is a beautiful town. Everybody loves to walk, even in small neighborhoods. And you guys, I think this area is very close to Lake Intervale. And I'm a huge proponent of sidewalks for both public safety, a healthier lifestyle, and the aesthetics of a neighborhood.
Okay.
I agree with that, except the problem is, we've had this discussion many, many times over the
All right,
years.
I'm going to cut this off because we're drifting into comments instead of asking questions of our traffic engineer. So,
Why don't we let Mr.
Yeah.
DiPriero,
okay.
he can
All
finish
right.
up the thought.
Even some of the residents who like sidewalks, they want it across the street, not on their side, on the other side, We've gone through this over and over again, and they like sidewalks, but not on their side. And it's always been a problem.
Okay, now, for the remaining board members, do we have any questions for the traffic engineer? Okay. Any questions? I have a question, I'm sorry. I got so wrapped up in everybody else. All right, so as many of the members of the public asked already, I'll ask ahead of time, and feel free to join in later when it's your turn if I miss anything, but you spoke to the RSIS compliance of the 40-foot radius. Have you evaluated its ability to support garbage trucks or fire trucks in our neighborhood?
Yes, and the 40 feet is based on a fire truck accessibility. It matches exactly this, other than it being tilted a little bit, I can see in the site plan. The 40-foot radius is the same as the existing cul-de-sac that's being extended.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and I believe some of the members of the public have expressed that the vehicles aren't able to make a full turn in that they have to sort of make a K-turn in order to complete the circle. Is that how the RSIS is calculated, or?
yes, no, it's calculated that you make a full circle.
Okay,
The fire truck or ladder truck can make the full circle. Certainly a garbage truck can make that full circle.
okay, so,
In one maneuver. Does the driver choose to do that? Maybe not, and he likes to jockey around, but
all right.
the 40-foot radius does accommodate.
That was my next question, is maybe then it's a driver choice instead of so if an emergency was required to make a single loop, they could?
Correct.
Okay.
I do have a question on that.
Yes, Mr. Desai.
When you make the circle, is it with the cars parked on the cul-de-sac or without the full circle?
Without, and maybe that's something that can be Title 39 disallow parking within that cul-de-sac. I mean, many towns do that for that very reason. Yes, it'll stop a truck from being able to make that turn if that cul-de-sac is filled up with parked cars.
Okay.
And just to piggyback on that, Mayor, it's something Steiger brought up, and just to refresh your recollection as to what Mr. Held said before, that that roadway would be dedicated to the township, which would mean that once that roadway is dedicated to the township, that means we have Title 39 control, which means that you then can pass ordinances to control parking.
Okay, got it.
Should you wish.
Yeah, Mr. Steiger, I was looking, just on this existing map, the current cul-de-sac, that doesn't seem to reflect what current RSIS design is. I mean, that's an older design, right, the bulb?
No.
Because the newer one, that what I see on the extension, can someone flip that page?
Yeah, it has.
We'll put the engineer back to work, he's earned his keep. I'm just saying, if you look at it, it's a different shape.
Yeah.
I mean, is that?
So that's conducive to you driving on that side of the road. It can, the RSIS is not, doesn't deal with the shape of the bulb, it's the 40-foot radius.
It's the
that it
radius.
deals with.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And that's, I've made that point, that they are identical, except what, the new one is a little bit tilted. But that's something that can be accommodated and still allow the trucks and the cars to make a continuous forward movement through that cul-de-sac.
Thank you, that's enlightening, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? All right. Sir, did you have a planning witness, or is this your last witness?
This is our last.
Okay.
Mr. Steiger is
All
a
right.
professional planner, but again, since no variance relief is required, it's
Okay.
only if needed.
On that basis, then I'll go ahead and open up the
Sure.
questions from the public at this point. All right.
I'll stand up and let the public.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, the floor is open for questions for our traffic witness. Okay, seeing no one come forward, okay.
And thank you for your report. Andy Chaffo, 5 Glenbrook Drive. Have you been to the area? Have you driven down the area, or just looked at it up from maps?
Absolutely.
So the sidewalks that are proposed for the Drexel Court extension, as they come out towards Drexel Court, would lead into what?
Would lead to nowhere.
To nowhere, right. Like the road and the bridge to nowhere, it would just go onto somebody's front lawn.
Correct.
So someone who had a mobility issue, who was using the sidewalk, would stop at that front lawn, or they have to go onto the street.
Correct.
So that's why your recommendation is sidewalks aren't really necessary, and they don't fit the character of the area.
That's been my testimony, but I do have to agree with your planner and the mayor that you've got to start somewhere. And if the intention of the town is to put in sidewalks at some point, here you have a free sidewalk. Here a developer comes along, they install the sidewalk, and for the future, if it's ever extended, the sidewalks, the town would have to do that work, but they don't have to do the 100 or 200 feet that the developer puts in.
Thank you. Quick show of hands, no sidewalks?
Okay,
No sidewalks. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. No, we can't. No. Questions?
Brian Bellows. I just, are there gonna be sidewalks on Intervale from 101 to 97?
It's not proposed.
Not.
That's an excellent question. Okay.
Yeah, it's a question, why not?
For the same reason, it's up to the board. If they want sidewalks, just like we agreed to put curb in, we're happy to put the sidewalks in.
I don't think so.
Whether it serves a purpose or not, I don't believe it does, because there's no other sidewalks that those proposed ones will lead to.
Well, there's more of a need of a sidewalk on Intervale.
Okay, let's put this into context. The reason why the sidewalks are on Drexel is because there is a township ordinance which requires it, and they put them there to comply with the township ordinance. So this makes their application variance free. What is being considered by the board is, it's not even asked by the applicant, by the way. So procedurally, we're kind of in a gray zone here, because Mr. Held has not asked for, he doesn't have to ask for, this change. Now, should the board wish to do it based upon the input and their considerations, They can do it independently, a little bit weird, but yet the board can do that. But just so everybody's aware, it's being generated by the town ordinance. They're doing it because the town has passed the ordinance. So it's not something that the applicant is doing to ask for a variance. Normally, it's an ask for a variance. All right, any other questions from the
Mr.
public?
Wenzel, what other point?
No.
The in-house doesn't require
No.
by ordinance?
Okay, we're gonna, once again, calls from the, if you're not, okay, you can't ask the question, okay, no, let's stop. We're gonna stop. There is no requirement for them to put sidewalks on Intervale. Done. Because they would put it.
It's not part of the ordinance?
Let me be clear, there's no sidewalks on Intervale because it's not required by the ordinance. Because if it was, they would have to put the sidewalks.
And the RSIS does, it governs, new roads, and the extension
Right.
of the court
Is a new road.
Intervale's an existing road.
Right. So in essence, because Intervale is an already existing road, Ms. Steiger, that requirement is alleviated as opposed to the extension of Drexel, which is required. So if they weren't extending Drexel, there wouldn't be any requirement to put sidewalks at all.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other members of the public with questions for the traffic engineer? All right, seeing none, I will close the public portion for questions. Turn it back over to you, sir.
Yeah, we have no further witnesses at this time. Certainly, our
right.
two witnesses that have testified are here if there's further questions from the board or the public or board professionals.
Very good. So what we'll do is we'll move on to comments from the public, then comments from the board, and then we'll allow you to make your closing statement.
Great. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, opening it up to comments from the board. Yes, sir, please come forward. I'm sorry, comments from the general public.
Right.
Board.
No.
You just got appointed.
You just have to please do us a favor stating and spelling your name one more time and your address.
It's Phil Buckner. Phil Buckner,
Speak up, please, into the mic.
3 Drexel Court. It's Buechner. So I have a real basic question right now. We already said that all the construction, or most of it's gonna come in from Intervale Road. We've got sidewalks that are required that are gonna lead to no place on Drexel Court. So why wouldn't this development be a Intervale Road cul-de-sac instead of disrupting the current status of Drexel Court?
This is not question time. Now's the time for comments.
Well, in fairness, he
Yeah,
did
okay.
try to ask it at the
Yeah.
end of the question period,
All right,
so.
well, I'm sure Mr. Held will put a note down for maybe his closing. Need be.
Okay. Any other comments from the general public? Okay, seeing none, I will close comments from the general public and open it up to comments from the board.
Yeah, question/comment, right? So the, the new sidewalks you talked about, and we talked about they will end nowhere, they'll go nowhere, but I would imagine that there will be a ramp or something to get down from the ramp to the, when they end, right? A ramp to the road. Can we confirm that, or? We just don't want the ramp just finish all of a sudden and then somebody on the ramp, on the sidewalk
I
not
think
able
I
to get
understand
down.
what you're saying. All of a sudden it ends and then it drops.
Yeah.
I think would it be
There should be a ramp to get
Slope?
down, right?
Oh,
Or whatever you
slope.
call it, slope or ramp, right?
I think that the engineer probably would be able to
Yeah.
comment. I think he's saying that.
Like
you can just
like you have at the signal, right? You just don't, how do you get down from a, sidewalk to the road, yeah?
I think what he's trying to say is if a kid is riding a bike, at the
A
end
bike
of
or
that
whatever, yeah.
sidewalk, he should be able to, with the slope, ease onto the street instead of just a drop-off, a curb drop-off.
Which it, so where
We
the
would not
sidewalk
generally
ends
recommend
to
that.
tie it, you're talking sloping it
Jen?
and tie it into the street then.
Okay.
Our engineer has a comment.
I would not generally recommend having a crossing down the middle of a block. Cars don't anticipate that. You usually want to have handicap crossings at intersections where cars will anticipate that. It creates a false sense of security for the person making that crossing. When we have proposed sidewalk that's, sidewalk to nowhere, we generally recommend a turnaround space at the end of that before it gets to the existing properties, a larger pad that enables a wheelchair to turn around a 5x5 instead of a 4-foot wide sidewalk at the end of that before it gets to the other properties. It allows you to turn back and then go down the driveway if you're trying to get to the roadway. But to provide access through the middle of the block is not recommended.
All right, so just in order to organize this conversation, what I'd like to do is discuss the consideration of the 2 waivers which have been discussed. So we'll start off with the sidewalk since we've already gone down that path. And what I'd like to do is decide as a board whether or not we want to go ahead and add this as a waiver. So we'll deliberate amongst ourselves at this point for that purpose. Mr. DiPiero, you're recognized.
Normally, I would, in general, I'm in favor of sidewalks. You have to start somewhere. I agree with that. I agree with that comment. But this is a dead-end street that doesn't have a lot of traffic at all. I mean, there's really no reason where there's no sidewalks that exist today on Drexel. This is a dead-end street. It's not going to be a high-volume trafficked road, and I don't see the need on this particular street. In my opinion, this would be the exception. It's a dead-end street going nowhere, and with very, very low traffic. Even with the 4 houses that are going to be built there, it'll be very low traffic. I don't see the need for a sidewalk.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. DiPiero. Anybody else want to make comments about the sidewalk? No, okay. Living on a cul-de-sac myself, where sidewalk only goes up half of it, and I see both sides of this. I'll be struggling with this question myself, I guess. I definitely agree with Mr. DiPiero and with Mayor Desai that you do have to start somewhere when it comes to sidewalks. But I guess I like your comment too, Mr. DiPiero, that where is this going to go eventually in the long run? With that said, there does seem to be a clear, with the existing circle, you have a clear point for the sidewalk to terminate. It's not like it's terminating to somebody else's property. It's terminating at the circle that's currently existing. So, I guess I'm leaning towards the sidewalk not being an issue and to leave it as part of the application. Does anybody else want to speak on this?
Yes. The original cul-de-sac is going to be terminated and extended. Is the original cul-de-sac going to be a straight, or the circle will still be there?
The circle will still be there.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll still be there, okay.
Yeah, the circle will be maintained.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going
to. Okay.
There's no plan to do anything with it, whether it is or it isn't. It's not.
Right.
They're not presenting anything along those lines, Mayor, is the point.
Okay.
Just to bring this in for a landing, because we're running
pretty late. Yeah.
We're running late here, but if the board were inclined to be in favor of removing the sidewalk, Mr. Held, I just want to clear something up with you, because it's your client's application. Does your client care one way or another? Let me just put it down to brass tacks here. Does your client care one way or another whether there's a sidewalk?
No. Whatever's the desire of the board.
Okay. So with that, Chair, if the board were inclined to grant, to add a variance condition of removal of the sidewalk, I would suggest that there be a motion and a second to add that variance to this application to allow the removal of the sidewalk.
Thank you for correcting my language, because it is variance, not a waiver. And just to clarify that, if we were to grant a variance for no sidewalk, that doesn't necessarily mean that the applicant would need to utilize that variance. Is that correct also?
Well, they,
It would kind of be judged at the site plan level.
well, no. What would happen is if you grant the variance, they're gonna redo their plans accordingly, and those are the plans they're gonna submit, and those are the plans that the township is gonna rely on.
Okay.
And if they then decide to do, I mean, arguably, they could do a sidewalk, but after they are granted the variance, I'm not sure that there's any practical reason for them to
And we
retread
would-
that.
If the board,
It almost
Okay.
becomes a
Right.
condition of approval.
yeah, it's a condition of approval.
Right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. All right, so at this time before the board, I'd like to see if anybody would like to make a motion in order to grant a variance for no sidewalks on this application.
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we have a second?
Second, Dedik.
All right. All right, so
Okay, on that motion, we need, vote.
yes, and we've already had deliberations, so we'll move right to the vote. Nora, please go ahead.
Deitch,
Yes.
Dinsmore,
Yes.
Desai,
No.
DiPiero,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Smith,
No.
Von Aiken.
No.
No, nor I did, math on the back of my hand. 4-3 passed?
Yes.
Okay, so now a variance has been added to allow no sidewalks. So now this application includes the subdivision plus the variance for the sidewalk. Chair, was there another piece you wanted?
Yes, we wanted to
To clear
discuss
up-
the streetlight issue as well.
Is the street, just to clarify, is the street light, is that would that create a variance condition if they didn't have the street light, or is it a waiver? Or is it a waiver? I thought it was a waiver.
RSIS?
Remember where that was?
I don't think it's a requirement. Street lighting.
I think it was a requirement.
But I think it may have been, I'm not sure if it's a variance condition or design waiver.
I think it's a design waiver. I don't think it was
Okay.
a variance.
Yeah.
So-
It was a design waiver.
Mr. Held, that one's a little easier. Mr. Held, you would agree that if the applicant is okay with removing the street light as a design waiver?
Correct.
Okay, so now we have a subdivision with a variance and a design waiver for no street light. That's their call because it's not a variance condition. Okay? All right, so that's the world now. No lights, no sidewalks, and a subdivision. Lights, no lights.
Well, is
Zero
that,
lights now.
is that what the board wants?
I think
Or
that
there's
was
gonna be a
pretty,
vote on
yeah,
that.
I think that was the situation, Mr. Held.
Okay.
No lights.
That one you don't need a,
No, that's a design waiver.
okay.
And last chance for any board members to speak up, if you have anything else to add to that. Okay. So no lights has been decided as the design waiver. That'll be added to the application. Okay, with that said, we don't need a vote on that. So with that said, I believe we're ready to take your closing statement, sir.
Yeah, and I will be brief. And again, the hour is late. Again, appreciate the comments from the public and the input from the public, the deliberations by the board professionals and staff. I truly appreciate it. And just briefly to touch on why was it designed this way? Because we looked at it and designed it to be a variance-free application, except obviously for the sidewalk relief being sought here. Again, addressing, you heard the comments from the public with respect to stormwater. This is a well-designed stormwater plan that now has to meet the ever-increasing DEP regulations. Again, variance-free application, addressed all of the comments from the board professionals, and will be a beautiful addition to the area. And my client is here and has heard the comments with respect to being a good neighbor and construction, staging and the like. So I think for all of those reasons, we request that the board grant this application for the major subdivision. And then again, as a condition of approval, getting soil conservation and the county approval. So, and again, thank you all for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll go ahead and accept a motion on this application, and we'll deliberate and vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Didich.
Yep, motion to approve application number 24:525, NB Home Improvements LLC, 97 and 101 Intervale Road, Block 429, lots 45 and 46, Zone R-3, preliminary and final major subdivision with C variance for a 6-lot subdivision as per the conditions noted.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, very good.
And-
Second, Mr. Patel, and
And-
go ahead.
Through you, Chair, those, the, Mr. Deach and, second, who was second, we, I forgot who second, agree to the conditions of approval that the applicant will adhere to, the board engineer report, and comply with same, provide updated plans with regard to the, 97 Intervale, that the plans will be updated for RSIS compliance. The sewer line will be scoped, including the stormwater outfall area will be scoped to ensure its proper placement, ensuring it's hooked into the proper municipal system. And there will be a stormwater management plan that will be filed with the county, and that will be reviewed by the board attorney as well as board professionals. There will be an agreement between the homeowners and the township as to the maintenance of that stormwater system. And Mr. Held, I'll let you catch up a second. Curbing will be done along Intervale, and concrete curbing to be continued along Drexel. And Mr. Held, give me one more second. And I think I got them all, Steve. Sure, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Oh, so that's a longer list than usual. Any board members wish to make any additional comments about your vote, for or against? Okay. All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and take a vote on this.
Desai,
Yes.
Didich.
Yes.
DePiero,
Yes.
Dinsmore,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Von Aiken.
Yes.
Thank you
Congratulations.
All
very
right.
much. And again, appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your participation to help make this application more beneficial in general. All right, with that said, I'll entertain a motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, go home. Hi, Joe.